Your host with the most, Matty G, coming at you live. I've never played a video like that before, so we will call that a mistake and we'll move on. I'm coming to you live from Isolation Station 1123. If you don't know what that is, that's my apartment number. Obviously, this is Saturday, so it means we're having After Dark. Tonight is yet another takeover. But last week we were in the Finstock Exchange. This week the dungeon is taking over. We'll get to our special guest here in a minute. We'll go around the circle. I, of course, am Matty G. To my right would be Nikki and Devin, our Mandalorians. Gentlemen, what's going on tonight?
This is the way.
Oh, no, just having a great, well, I mean, yesterday morning was great with Clone Wars, and it's a great time to be a Mandalorian right now. This is the way. I mean, I'm glad that Mandalorians are back. We're back on Mandalore. The Red Mandalorians are loyal to Maul, and Lord Maul, if you're watching, I mean, dude, you just like the coolest. So like, just keep doing what you're doing. We will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. We will have revenge.
All righty then, because this is the way. That's right. To their right is my co-host, my sergeant at arms, whatever you want to call him, Matt. Matt, how's it going tonight?
It's going better than it was the last, 3 months or however long it's been with this quarantine. We finally have the NFL draft, so there's something sports related I get to watch. So that was fun. Got to see.
Other than Madden playing inside.
Well, look, I didn't have to do that for the last couple days, so I'm doing well though.
All righty. Coming in late would be my Titan Mania tag team partner, Mr. Comic Book Lad himself. Better late than never, right?
How's everyone going? Greetings from the future.
Yes, he is Mr. Zipper. If you don't know, he is our time traveler. He comes to us from that country that some people don't think exists is Australia. If you're a flatlander, they fell off the earth a long time ago.
I don't know. As someone who has an ex from Australia, I wish it didn't exist. But other than that, who can say?
Oh, there's only 16 million people. I probably know them. So.
Is it true what they say about Australian people?
What would that be?
I heard they were very promiscuous. Like I heard that Australia was like the most Australian.
Australia is the most Australian place. Yeah, it is.
Australia was the most Australian country there was. No, I heard a survey that said that like Australia was the most promiscuous like continent or country.
Well, I mean, having sex is our third favorite national sport.
You did say something once, and I wasn't sure if you were joking or not. It had me consider. I'm sorry, that was just my natural reaction to hearing Australia.
Okay, and on that note, Nikki, this is the way. Shut up and put your helmet on.
This is the way.
The man to his inside would be the man in the hammock, the man in quote unquote paradise. Okay, I was waiting.
Hello, everyone.
I was waiting for a certain sound.
There it is.
There's our favorite.
There it is. Hello, everybody. Excited to be here as always. Really excited to be here with the Zipper. Been a big fan for a long time. Loving all the stuff. I think Kaiser's been good to you as far as the dude just is a goofball and bringing and putting you more on. And that's what we need. We need more Zipper because it's too much fun, brother. It's too much fun. So we're happy to be here. Happy to have you here.
Thanks, man. I was about to be mad at you for coming to us from a fucking hammock in paradise, but then you said nice things, so I guess I'll allow it.
Yeah. Well, guess what? If he gets too out of hand, I always have the power to just go bye.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I like that he's on the left because I can just look disapprovingly over this way.
That's right.
There it is. There's our favorite soundbite. Ladies and
I
gentlemen,
played it 3 times.
what didn't come through as well as that one. So good for you.
Oh, good for you.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest, our takeover personality, whoever the hell you want to put it, comes to us right here from the dungeon. Just like Tyler says, you must have done doing sit-ups while watching Batman and Robin for the 100th time. No, I called in. I had Little Warrior call in his favor to Kaiser to release him for the next hour or so. Because that kid's still wondering where the hell his cookies and my beer at Spectacular disappeared.
I mean,
But I mean, it's really cool. Thank you, Eric, for taking time out of your isolation.
yeah, it really took some effort to carve out some time amongst all the sitting around doing nothing that I've been doing, but I managed to do it. Managed to figure it out. Thank you guys for having me. This is awesome. This coming to you live from the dungeon. This is obviously the most brightly lit room in the dungeon. I'm at like the top where we get a little bit of sunlight, and then the deeper you go, Smets is all the way down at the bottom, just like sitting in a dark room with his hoodie up, like.
Fascinating. Grant, as somebody who is familiar with dungeons, how do you feel about that?
Sorry, I missed that. Say that again.
He's speechless. I said, somebody who is familiar with dungeons, how do you feel about Zipper with the dungeon?
It's extremely well lit for a dungeon. You must have a pretty good solar power to be able to do that. No, I don't know anything about dungeons. I don't know where you get that from.
Him and his kinky fuckery. Let's move on, shall we?
I'm not on some sort of prison planet.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody asked this, Eric. Maybe you can answer that question for us.
Oh man,
Bill, you bastard! You stole my question. Sorry, that's a made one.
Yeah, Prison Planet is a short film that me and some friends made like a decade ago for Channel 101 here in Los Angeles. We did not get a second episode. For those that don't know what Channel 101 was, it was I think it was started by Dan Harmon and Rob Schraub, and it was a film festival where the audience would vote on which shorts they liked each week that they wanted to see another installment of, and they did not want to see more Prison Planet. But,
you wrote that, correct?
I co-wrote it. Yeah.
You co-wrote, yeah, because you played the Cannibal King, if I remember correctly.
I did. I have fond memories of having that mohawk. And while we were shooting it, a bird shit directly into my mohawk, so that was fun.
Oh, dear.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you must, obviously you're on YouTube, you're watching us. Google Prison Planet or YouTube Prison Planet. I'm sure
there is also like a terrible like conservative news site though, I think, called Prison Planet. There's like no affiliation, but look for the one with cannibals and me with a mohawk. That's the one.
I thought you and Paul Joseph Watson looked a little familiar, but I thought I wasn't 100% certain.
Well. That's a big yikes for me there. Okay.
For a second, I thought that was like happening at one of you guys' places, and I was like, "Oh no!" And I'm the one in the dungeon. Jesus.
So
yeah,
well,
it's
cannibals
gonna
have
happen in my
escaped.
place eventually. If we have another few weeks of this whole thing, it's gonna happen.
You heard Caleb from the closet. I'm sorry, I meant to soundproof that. But speaking of my son, on our show, we have him ask one question. I have him thinking throughout the week and think of one question to ask our guests. Eric, since we all know you're a kind of movie nerd, nerd at heart, given your shirt, if you could take an MCU character who hasn't been introduced into the MCU, so a Marvel character that has not been introduced in the MCU, you're not your Spider-Man or somebody kind of off the grid, who would it be?
what Marvel character do I want to see introduced into the MCU?
Yeah, somebody, kind of squirrel girl, somebody kind of, off the beaten path.
Yeah, sure. That is a really good question. I do think it's kind of crazy that we don't have Namor yet. So Namor is definitely up there. But I would really love to see a lot more of the cosmic stuff. So I think my pick would probably have to be Nova. I would love for them to do something like, especially because they basically already set it up. So
Devin has an awesome Nova helmet.
Amazing. I love that.
We gotta pull up the image from the previous episode.
Please, yeah. Because off screen, we already know that Thanos totally decimated Xandar, right? So
and he would be in the movie. Oh, that would be like the opening. The first act would be Thanos destroying Xandar. It would be
everyone
amazing.
Except for Robbie, and then he and the World Mind, and you have the World Mind voiced by Glenn Close, because of course.
Who would you have play Nova?
Oh, that's a good question.
Rami Malek.
Oh, we have time. I'll mull over that, and if I come up with something,
mull over that. I was thinking, you gotta have somebody.
I kind of like Grant's answer of Rami Malek. I like.
I could be into that.
I like Grant's answer of Rami Malek. That's an interesting.
I was thinking somebody like Blonde.
I do want to give a shout out to the truthers that. I'm going to give a shout out to the truthers that came over from one of my other pages that I follow. Frank and Nicole, love you all. They will be joining us for a charity stream. Maybe not in the stream, but they're some of the people from that page will be joining us on our charity stream tomorrow. So absolutely keep an eye out for that. It's funny you said Nova because that was actually Caleb's answer.
It's the answer. It's like why do we not have him yet? I mean, we got the Nova Corps obviously, which is like a nice consolation, I guess. Getting to see John C. Reilly in a Nova Corps outfit is like a beautiful, surreal thing. But mostly what I want is that Nova World Mind dynamic of the dude who has no idea what he's doing with an all-powerful entity in his head that's just like a stern, disapproving asshole. That's the dynamic I want.
So it's a shame that Ryan Reynolds is already like Deadpool, because I think Ryan Reynolds would actually be like a perfect choice for that role.
You know who I think could do it? Jack Rayner. Did you guys see Midsummer? He's the terrible boyfriend in Midsummer.
Oh. I gotta look at this guy.
Yeah,
I think
he's in the fourth Transformers, I think, too.
I was gonna say he's also in Transformers.
That's a cool one.
The best one.
He's the
Extinction, right?
I think. I don't know. They're all shitty and they all kind of blend.
No.
I watched the first
Mark Wahlberg one,
and then I was out.
Yeah,
if it's who I think it is, then I am totally on board for that.
Yeah, he was in something else too, and I can't think of it. Like almost right after.
That's the Nova helmet. There you go.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And it's like just that right size.
Nikki has a hell of a job with a 3D printer.
Nobody else that has tried to put it on. It fits no one else's head.
Is that the Sam Alexander Nova helmet?
Yes. It is. That was easier to do than the gold one, and I thought the gold one looked a little too Dr. Fady.
That's fair.
Okay, so we got a question that just popped in. What is your and Sean George's next project?
Oh yeah, you guys are the deep cut questions. Damn. So I don't know how much I can say about it because I don't know how deep into it they are. But Sean and his partner Rama are working on a movie that I have a small part in. Yeah, that's it. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. It's been a while since I've heard about what's going on with that, but there is a thing.
That is absolutely true. I think it's funny in the comic books they asked Deadpool to describe himself. they asked Deadpool to describe himself, and it's Ryan Reynolds and a mutated Jesus, Sharpay. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't think of that.
Okay, Sharpay is a hard word.
I don't even know what that is.
I can't
It's
hear you.
Okay.
It's like a very silly looking dog.
It's a wrinkly ass dog.
It's too many dogs. You know what I mean?
It is about the same size as the role in
Can you
Nightmare.
answer that question?
It's basically a glorified cameo, so it's not a huge role. I was gonna play a larger part, but I was busy. Things are happening, and so I did a small bit where I got to basically just show up for a day and scream and have some fun.
Oh
hang
shit,
out with
he's
some friends.
back.
Oh,
Alan.
Oh, that was way too loud, man. Somehow that got turned out. I'm sorry if I blew your eardrums out, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank
It's
you
all
for
right.
Back
abandoning.
from outer space, ladies and gentlemen.
I appreciate you abandoning the hammock, so you're not rubbing it in anymore. I
thank
really
you.
appreciate
Just
that.
yes,
So,
for
okay,
you,
guys,
for everybody, for their sanity.
I know,
Where
right?
the hell there's not? I got swords
Yeah,
here.
we're
I got arrows. I got bows. I got crossbows. I'm ready for the apocalypse. Well, once this thing really starts going down, I will do very well. We will do very well. Death Watch will be okay. We have armor. We have helmets. We're ready.
So,
Guys, this is the way.
This is the
You know
way.
what the tool you need is though, right? The one multi-purpose tool that everyone needs in an apocalypse. And Fury Road taught me this. Bolt cutters. You need
Bolt cutters,
bolt
that's right. Gotta have bolt cutters. Because as soon as you get chained up to something, you gotta get out.
Like I will reopen Blockbuster
That's it.
Video in the apocalypse.
That's it.
I will do very well there.
Nice.
This is
You're
the
gonna
way.
hold that.
So-
You're gonna hold that for the rest of the time, right? Just hold that.
He's
sword
got
up.
to. He has to.
So,
It's in his contract.
but yeah,
Train him up.
our theory is
Oh.
Our theory is
think, Maddie,
silence. You got it?
yes.
I can't hear you with
Our
that.
theory
music.
is
Yeah,
silence.
he'll hold it as long as I leave that up there. He'll have to hold it.
That's what she. Oh no, I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it.
So, Eric,
there's
what
a
have you
tree
been
here,
doing in your
Alan.
dungeon?
Get here.
I was gonna.
Sorry, what was that?
So,
What
what have
was
you
that,
been
G?
doing in isolation?
You know, all the quarantine classics.
said, what do you
playing
think-
video games, watching movies, weeping, curling up in a ball on the floor, brimming with anxiety, reading. No, not reading actually,
No.
but all the rest of those.
all the usual things.
Yeah, you know the stuff you do.
Stuff you do in a pandemic.
But yeah,
are you
just a lot of
keeping up
watching
with
stuff
toilet
and playing
paper
stuff.
though? Are you keeping up with toilet paper?
So I was blessed shortly before the pandemic with my family made a trip to Costco and gave me one of those massive like 32 roll of toilet paper things. So I'm doing okay. I still got a little bit of time left before I have to worry about it.
I've always wanted a reason to use that yeehaw, and when you said pandemic, I was like,
Fair.
I mean that in the nicest way
That
possible.
No,
This
the
is
way
a
you said it, I thought we were being attacked by
pandemic.
pandas.
So,
Jesus.
I'm gonna open it up. Anybody want to ask questions? Mr. Allen, you always have something to say.
Alan.
Everybody's.
I love the soundboard, by the way. I love that. Like it makes it feel very official.
Very Howard Stern.
That was my idea.
It really was. Nikki just went, "Hey Matt, can I bring a soundboard and plug it in and start screwing with people?" I went, "Yeah, yes."
This show would have sunk weeks ago.
Yes.
If not for
He even made one guest sound like they farted. Oh, humanity.
Oh, you want to?
Yeah, it was definitely the soundboard. Yeah.
Okay. I'll get somebody.
Yeah, Paul Preston had a hoot with that. He really enjoyed that soundboard.
Oh, yeah, he liked
Sound-
it. Good.
Sounds right.
Well, Eric, yeah, talking about Paul Preston, he literally took the show over. We told him, you can do what you want. We'll go along with it. And for 2.5 hours, he interviewed us.
That's amazing.
On our show. So if you want to talk about something, go for it. But
Yeah. So what do you want to know about us?
Okay, it's a classic question, but if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh,
Is being a genie a superpower?
Wait, did you say you want to be a genie?
Yeah. I'm quarantined
be-
anyway, so I might as well have powers.
Can it be
Yeah,
the powers
yeah.
of a certain superhero?
Hmm.
What's that?
Can it be like the powers of a certain superhero?
Oh, Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say
So I would
Stephen.
have the powers of Martian Manhunter. Martian powers. That's what I would say. I know it's a little bit of a cheat because there's a lot of powers there. He can fly. He's got the laser vision. He can like read people's thoughts and sept them.
Shapeshift.
but he can't
Shapeshift.
enjoy campfire. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Phase.
You're also accepting his weakness, which
I'm
is
not
like,
on fire anyway.
well, there you go.
Hey, I'll give up a campfire if I can phase through, read people's minds, all that, fly, shapeshift. I'll trade all that for that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that you might as well
Campfire.
be Vision.
I don't
You
need
might as
s'mores
well
that
just
bad.
be Vision.
What about you?
You might as well just be Vision then. I mean,
Vision's cool too.
Vision's a good pick, actually.
Vibranium body. Elizabeth Olsen.
You see,
And you get the like phasing elements of something like Kitty Pryde, where also getting the flip side of it of the like hyper dense super strength. Like it's pretty versatile.
Meow.
Or maybe the powers of someone like Franklin Richards, like all of them.
Yeah, making universes, being a god,
Right,
Or Legion. I mean, at least that way you'd never be alone.
That's
in
true.
your thoughts.
as far as powers
Yeah.
go, I've
Apparently,
thought about-
Zoe wants the powers of this one.
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Also a good pick.
Yeah, I told them. Don't worry, I told them. Yeah.
great. So, I've thought about this many times. The ultimate power would be some form of shapeshifting. In a sense, you'd be able to emulate in some degree a bunch of other powers, as well as if you're well trained enough, you can pretty much be invincible. Just kind of bend yourself out of the way of anything. And I've thought of a technological way to do it.
You what?
Wait,
Recreate it in some
I'm sorry,
It's
anyone,
not-
can you please repeat that?
Devin
It's
has
purely theoretical,
learned how to
but
shapeshift.
I don't have nearly the funding to put it into practice. But I've definitely thought of different designs for trying to emulate that power.
The baby is scared.
The baby's scared. It was Plankton. Plankton's terrified.
sure scared the shit out of me. No, he's not really a super. It's not really a superhero, but I would choose Zeno or Zenny from Dragon Ball Super because he's literally like a kid. He's got the mindset of a kid, but he's got the power to wipe out worlds with the snap of his fingers. He's basically like beyond God.
He's Dragon Ball Z's equivalent
But how
of the one above
practical is
all.
that really?
yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Damn
I'm
Martians
bored to death. I think I'll
coming
wipe out a
again.
planet.
Sometimes you wake up, it's the middle of a pandemic, and you're like, you know what?
Right.
I'm bored. I'm going to wipe out a planet today.
That's
yeah,
right.
right.
That's right.
Goddamn right.
Horrible.
Jupiter's
Okay.
had its run. It's
I don't know why, but
It's
Uranus
over.
is pissing me off today.
Oh,
Uranus is pissing me off today.
No, that's not where piss is supposed to come out of.
that's right.
You got confused.
If piss is coming out of
Oh,
your
no.
face,
Everybody froze on me.
Hence the reason why I'm angry at it.
Alan,
Uh-oh. And I lost
is this
Matt.
true?
And, oh, God.
Urine doesn't come
I
out
think
of the
I'm having trouble connecting.
You're not the only one that lost me. Don't worry.
Nick, well, okay. Oh, Eric, we should inform you. Nikki and
Bing.
Devin are both. Nikki's 15 and Devin's 12, so we're trying to teach them how to be.
Devin's 18. Devin's is actually late, but I'm kind of
All right, you know what? No.
a dumb.
Before you say, how old do you think this guy is?
No,
See what else I have over here.
That game's getting old.
I would guess like 19.
I don't like the attention this game brings.
There you go. In the chat before we say his age, drop some numbers. How old do you think Nikki is?
No,
We'll reveal it
God.
eventually.
Alan.
I will say,
please.
as someone who
Oh, I'm totally gone.
I used to work with little kids, and there was no more depressing game than asking children how old they think you are. Because I was like 23 at the time, and they would be like, "You're 50 because you have a beard, and my dad doesn't have a beard."
It's like,
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm back.
You're back.
Alan.
We lost beer.
I'm back. Okay,
okay, fuck beer.
I'm back. Is that what y'all do when I
One good thing to
phase
come
out
from that
too?
movie.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
Oh, come on. I hope
There we
this
go.
man still gets kicked out somehow.
Oops.
Messenger.
True.
Messenger.
All right, so did everybody
Messenger.
answer the question that Eric asked? What your superpower
The
would be?
superpowers.
Yeah, Alan,
Yeah,
you would have
I'm.
the power of a raptor, right?
What's that?
Power of a raptor.
The power of a raptor.
A raptor that could talk.
I've been a raptor before, and let me
Yeah,
tell
I
you,
know.
there's no power. There's no power to it. It hurts, and it makes you powerless because you in a suit that makes you really hot, sweaty.
Yeah, but
Not good.
Blue is
but
like
I could
the
move.
raptor ever.
Blue is the most well-known raptor ever. I gotta find pictures of
It
me
was-
in the blue costume.
Your cousin dressed up as Blue. That was your cousin, right? It was one time. No, not your cousin. All right, some kid.
Some kid dressed up as blue.
I don't know. He had the blue.
Some kid. There you go.
Some kid that had blue.
Um,
I remember.
That's
blue things. All right.
solid color or
No, God, it was the blue raptor. It was
Jesus
Alan.
Christ. Alan,
This is what I have to deal with.
every day. All right, so let's if I can shift it to the Schmodown stuff, because that's
Sure.
I've been rewatching everything because what the hell else am I doing? But we asked this of the other of people. How do you feel, Zip? Because you've been in it for a while. How do you feel about this whole faction thing and what's going on with the managers and the more power they have and the kind of how do you feel about that?
I think it's cool. I love it. I think that this pandemic and the pause that everything has kind of had to take is going to have a strange effect on sort of the build that it is sort of designed to have, as like a season of a sport. But I'm into it. I think it's really fun. Mostly, like, I just love having a manager and having a faction, and just like having people in my corner is the best thing about it. Having like a large group of people that are like invested and that are like in it with you, and everyone in the dungeon is amazing. I don't know if you know this, but Vinny Mancuso also has "Don't Panic" tattooed on his left arm. So there are two people in the dungeon.
In the dungeon. That's awesome. That's awesome. What
So
are
right
the
away, I
odds?
was like, "This guy's all right." Like,
That is cool.
I don't have any tattoos, and I don't know if I'd ever get one.
if I could afford them, I'd be covered in nerdy stuff. Right now, I just have the "Don't Panic" and my Adventure Time swords.
Nice.
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 Wow.
The only tattoos I ever thought about getting was I was going to get Hal Jordan with a pose of the ring here. And then on the other, it would be Parallax when he was Parallax with his hand and the green flame. That would be the only tattoos I was going to get.
The Oath would be a pretty neat tattoo too, just like script.
The Oath would be a scribe somewhere. Yeah.
Have you ever thought of
Me and my wife were
tattooing
going to do
ring?
the tattoo rings, but I wanted to do the Green Lantern.
Yeah, hey. Everybody
Every
wants
time.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
So I don't get to
Oh,
ask
Matty G's
this.
back.
Yeah, he's back. See, I don't get a whole lot of opportunities to ask this question. I did to our first guest, and I've never asked anybody else.
well,
but-
you're a
Uh-oh.
dumbass.
Oh, boy.
before this whole pandemic happened, before the world began to end,
Sure.
what was your favorite places to go and eat? And I mean, it could be in LA, it could be just if you ever left the state, anywhere that you've been to.
My favorite place is probably Big Sur. It's just totally gorgeous. It's my favorite place to go camping. Like just driving up the coast by myself and like hanging out on the beach and like I don't know. It's just like it's my zen. Like the world doesn't feel as totally batshit insane
Right.
when I'm there.
Nice.
Very cool.
But, yeah.
Nice. What's the feel around LA right now as far as because for
It's
example,
weird.
we don't have the numbers out here, and a lot of places around. I'm on Oahu, that's where Honolulu is, but I'm on the other side of the island from Honolulu, and there is not. Shut up. But for example, when we go to the stores and we go to the different shops and stuff, there's a lot of people that are out and about. I mean, everybody got a mask on. But we can't go to the beach because the beaches are closed. They just reopened parks for exercise. But if you go any place that's not a store, it's pretty much a ghost town. What's the feel like in LA?
It's pretty similar. There are some people out and about in masks, but compared to what it normally is, it feels super dead and ghostly. What's really weird is right around the time this started, I watched the movie Night of the Comet, which I don't know if any of you guys have seen that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Classic,
it's set
baby.
in an empty Los Angeles.
Yep,
and so
empty LA.
watching it was surreal and weird. And like a couple
Wow.
days later, I like drove through downtown and I was like, oh God.
When's the comet hitting?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing.
But
That's
it feels
crazy.
weird. It feels very surreal, especially because right now I live right in Hollywood, like very close to Hollywood Boulevard, where it is usually
Wow.
like super crazy.
Super packed. Yeah.
And so even just going a couple blocks like to the grocery store is very bizarre feeling.
I just want to point out
brother-
Kaiser actually let him loose. I just want to point that out. That actually Kaiser let him loose. That's right there should tell
For
you the
this.
fucking world's ending.
Right? Right, let him out.
We leave the dungeon for a couple minutes.
A couple minutes to go see some. Well, one thing I've noticed, and I hear that we've heard reports that LA, that the air quality has been better now than it's been in years.
Than ever.
I was thinking that the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I live right by the Hollywood Reservoir, and so I really want to take a drive up there so I can see, because you can get a view of all of LA, and usually it's not that amazing because it's covered in smog. But I bet it's gorgeous right now. So I should take advantage of that because it's amazing to actually go outside and kind of be able to breathe.
Right? I mean, we can see stars wise. I mean, usually a lot, but it's been insane at night. I mean, just absolutely insane.
We still don't have.
It's been insane.
Yeah, like like Monday, Tuesday here, we had this massive meteor shower, and you can see some of it.
Oh shit!
You can see some of it, most of it, in my apartment complex because I live on the outskirts of Phoenix. But just as clear as it's been, it was really awesome to see that. I don't know what happened to Nikki and Devin.
I know. It's almost like they were kicked out.
But big shout out to our other mod, whatever you want to call him, Subrath. Good morning, sir.
Matt, when
He's
you
in
kicked
India.
out Nikki and Devin's face changed. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, Devin's face changed.
Well, maybe I should kick him out again. He'll become
Maybe
something
the
else.
Right, he'll come back in another
technology
phase.
piece is working. So, Eric, I don't know if you realize, but I found an old picture of you that I thought I might just borrow as an avatar for a while.
I did see that. I actually, it's possible I was not pulling it off, but I actually kind of miss having the mohawk.
I sent the full image. I sent the full image to Maddie if he wants to show people. It's a screenshot, so
I can absolutely give it a try.
The thing is, we're probably only a few weeks away from all of us just dressing like that in full apocalyptic gears. So
exactly, we're about to make it happen.
Everybody's going to be on the streets driving.
Once you put shoulder pads on, that's it. That's the end of the world.
That's it.
Oh, yeah.
Put some spikes on a helmet.
I got a bunch
of
shoulder pads here. I've got Mandalorian armor. I'm ready.
You're ready,
Nikki? I'm gonna try to get to where you are. Let's just say, because I'm hunkered down.
I own a disappointingly small number of swords, so
I don't own any shorts.
I own 2, but it's not enough, and they're stage swords. So
shorts.
Shorts. Yes, I only own 2 pairs of shorts. Wow! Now the full image is worth it. What in the blue hell is happening there?
That was me as King of the Cannibals.
King of the Cannibals. So, Eric, did you do some ever do theater stuff before?
Yeah, that's what I majored in college was.
Oh, nice.
Was theater.
I usually don't do that with the guests, but you seem like
best to do it.
No, you know what? Fair, totally fair.
Fair. Because that's my background is theater, and I do a lot of theater out here. So yeah, it's always good to see what competitors or what people that because there's definite stage people and film people, and you can tell what school people have been in depending on when you're working with them, what they're doing.
I was a little bit more in that film people school in that even though I was a theater major, I'd be on stage trying to be subtle and people would have to be like, no one can see that. You're right. That's fair.
Oh yeah. This story that I tell is I did an episode of Hawaii Five-0 with Alex and Scott, and it comes to me. My lines are with them, and I start saying one of my lines. Yep, that's right. There you go. Plug it. Got the lettuce check from right here. But I started saying my lines, and Alex goes, "Whoa, theater guy," because I was so loud and I couldn't hear them at all. And they're not even 3 feet away from me, and I couldn't hear Alex at all. And we had a good laugh about that. It was fun.
Yeah, no, I had a similar experience to that because
I don't know. Put it up for now and we'll find it later.
Oh, it's in the box.
Oh, was it okay?
What's in the box?
Something's in the box. Get it out of the box!
Sorry, I completely forgot I didn't read I just
chaos.
I completely forgot I unmuted, and I'm sitting here talking to the kid, and I'm like,
you're talking about something being in the box.
Shit.
Yeah, what was in the box? Now we got to know.
DS charger.
Okay. There you go.
Thank God. No, but I had the same experience, but a little different because there's a movie I was going to do, but it never got finished because budgets, that's nice to have, and more than the
any money
actors we needed. We didn't have enough. So I had that whole thing going on, and then we did a play for a local church group that wanted to do a play, and I was like, okay, I'll do that. Something to do. I'll get my acting chops. I'll get to dig my teeth into something, and I would. Whenever I'm supposed to be on stage during practice, I would talk like I normally would have to if we were doing a movie where I wasn't yelling or anything. So, yeah, I got criticized about that too.
The only thing I still use from my theater degree is just projecting. When I work with, because a bunch of my jobs involve working with kids, and just having the ability to be like, hey, and have the whole room turn and look at you.
Yeah.
Is really the only thing from being a theater major that I still use is just being able to like speak loudly.
Right. Yeah, that's what
Get
I.
everyone's attention and shut everybody up.
Exactly.
So how
that's what
much
I
of
can
like
do now.
theater school was like written assignment? Because I've realized that I have zero like manual skills. But like I can use my arms, my hands
Your
for
skills.
anything. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can work using my voice or my mind.
Right?
But
That's
this world,
the dream.
it's hard.
I don't know,
It's hard.
Nikki could at 28. By the way, Nikki can still play the dweeb in high school.
I could. I'd be the perfect weeb in high school.
Hey, ride that train as long as you can, brother.
They had a bowling man at a locker. So it really doesn't matter.
If you guys want a different fun fact, I almost played the ultimate high school dweeb. I was one of the last few people in consideration for McLovin and Superbad.
Oh,
like
nice.
high school.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Because I was just like especially nerdy at the time, like total Jew fro, glasses, like
nice.
Bravo. So yeah, so that was almost my legacy, was just being the nerdiest person alive.
Hey, but that's a hell of a one, though. That's a pretty good one. That's if you gotta have one, that's a good one.
You know, he's getting fat royalty checks for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like just
I
think
I
all,
love that movie.
just think
I
of all the
love
people
that
in the world
movie.
that would have those fake ideas or IDs, but with your face instead of whatever
Right?
his name is.
That's the
It would be
thing.
so weird.
Hey, you know how many of those I've seen out here?
Right?
It's honestly
Maybe.
like probably a blessing that I didn't get it. Just for that alone. Just so
for that
people
alone.
walking down the street aren't yelling McLovin!
McLovin! Yeah.
They would use
Awesome.
that fake ID to try to buy their own drinks.
And you got to hang out with those cops, and you got to like
Yeah, true.
third base with a girl. It was a happy ending.
What?
I don't think he got a happy ending, did he?
Almost.
Almost.
Halfway.
Almost. He got
There's
the
always the
block.
next day. There's always the next day.
Right. But we'll never see it.
I don't know. I'd like to see a super bad part 2 that takes
Right.
place like 20 years, like now, kind of
I'll
like they
watch it
did
if
with
Emma Stone-
Zombieland.
Right.
I
But
love
except-
Emma Stone.
It's wild that that movie was as long ago as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's the fact it's so long. If you actually look at it, it's almost 3 hours long. Like it's just
That is
shot-
not
that
true.
can't be 3 hours.
3 hours.
Very long. It's like
No
30.
way.
It's up there. I'll
I'm
give you
looking it
that.
up.
Here, I have.
He's looking it
I'll
up.
go grab it.
So I have a
He's
question.
gotta look
Which
it up
Emma
now.
Stone do you like best? We got goth Emma Stone. We got natural redhead Emma Stone. We got blonde Emma Stone. I like. I'm.
We
a
got
little
part
bit
Asian Emma Stone.
I like.
There
Sorry,
you go.
I had to.
Which
Part Asian Emma Stone.
Aloha.
Yes. Part Asian.
It's an hour and
Thank
18
you. I was not
minutes.
there. I
you
forget
dingus.
that. So I don't think that's anybody's favorite.
It's 118 minutes. Come
you're in
on.
between
I like.
natural
I got to
Emma
meet her on
Stone,
that.
Period.
Stone.
I got to meet her at a. I was DJing at a club in Scottsdale, Arizona, and she got to come out to it. She's originally from Scottsdale, and
Yeah.
I was DJing in a club one night, and I had just come off the stage and went over to the bar to have a drink, and she was standing right there. This is before she did anything big.
Yeah.
So
Did she ever tell you your
Small
real last name?
She's so
Did she ever
little.
say what her real last name was?
no,
Zipper.
she actually went by Stone.
Oh, okay.
Stone.
Say I forgot her real last name, so I was hoping
Stone.
you would have said yeah.
Yeah, it sounds mysterious, you know.
I actually had a teacher in high school whose last name was Stone, and he was actually goth. He was my English teacher, and he was goth. Him and his wife were full on goth. To like the and
I had a
I just-
teacher in
High school
Just
teacher.
That's amazing.
Usually
I,
We got like deported.
he's
I-
one of the. He taught me that just being a nerd doesn't, into comic books and so forth, like didn't really matter. So it was really cool.
Oh.
There you go.
I
No,
just
the only
called
teachers I had were
heads
teachers that
instead
got
of-
fired for doing drugs or sleeping with students. So I didn't have anybody as inspirational as you, Matt.
Well, you are in Indiana.
True.
I've got a
the meth
question. I've got a
capital of the
question
world.
for Eric.
Yeah.
Eric, if you were to let's say be a part of a live adaptation of East of West, who would you be? Because I know it's one of the comics that you enjoy reading.
My God.
He's deep
how
cutting
did
you
know that?
hard,
That's
brother.
like one of my absolute favorite comics. I mean, the best character in East of West, like the character I think anyone would want to kill to play, is Archibald Chamberlain.
Oh, Chamberlain.
He's just such an amazing villain. I just like I'm sad the Amazon adaptation of that comic isn't happening anymore.
Yeah.
But he was the character who I was most excited to see who they would cast because he's so good. I actually have not read the last arc of East of West yet, so I still don't know how it ends. But
okay, well, I'm not going to ask.
I'm
not going to ask my next question then.
All right, thank you.
Don't spoil it.
The question was going to be: are you still a fan of Hickman's or not? That's what it was going to be. Without any detail.
Yes, I.
Nice.
I love that guy.
You got.
But anyone who writes comics and throws a bunch of charts and graphs in for no reason, I'm into it.
So I'm gonna go with my previous comic, Grant Still, Cyberstock Eric, and we'll move on from there.
Hey man, he does his research. He does his research, baby.
At least he's cyberstalking me from the other side of the planet. That's harmless. It's fine.
No harm, no foul.
I mean, it's not like I'm asking you, did you end up picking up the Death in Our Hands book that you're looking for the other day? Or not, you know? And how did that bear claw taste?
Oh my God.
Bear claw taste.
Because remember, guys, Grant, is our time traveler, so he could have already done this. This has already happened to him, so he knows.
True. It's already happened to him.
Right now, he's just sitting at home watching whatever's on TV in Australia. Sunday morning, people at churches.
No, church is closed here, buddy. We can't do that anymore.
Can't go to church. You can't go to church.
Well, some people.
According to Malcolm, that the whole New Zealand and Australia is basically closed.
I mean, good.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Everywhere should be closed. That's not a specific dig on Australia, New Zealand.
Right? Everything.
Oh no,
everything.
That's not a specific. No, like
shut it down. Shut it down.
Like here, we're gonna. Like when we go to Walmart, that's a clusterfuck. There's like 200 people at Walmart, and it's like I mean, I feel bad for the kid because he's got to wear a mask. He wears his mask, and like he looked at me and said, "Dad, where's the zombies?" I wait, I don't know. Where's the apocalypse ever?
I did go to Target the other day with the mask, and I did have this on over the top because I just wanted to see why not. So, and nobody said anything. I never got any weird looks. That's what it was.
I went to the grocery store yesterday, and it wasn't that crowded. It was like pretty okay, but I've been very disappointed. So I usually lie and tell people I'm from Los Angeles, even though I'm actually from Orange County, but I'm just super embarrassed about it. It's a terrible place. It's a terrible place. And there were pictures today of all the beaches in Orange County and Huntington and Newport, and the beaches were packed. And I was like, yeah, that tracks. That sounds about right.
Wow.
Which then you know what's going to happen. The curve's going to get worse, and then they're going to go, well, this is why this is stupid. One person who didn't realize that they were infected is going to show up, and then everybody at their beaches. I had about a week ago, I got a message stating that somebody wanted me to DJ a house party. I'm like, no. They're like, we'll pay you $100. I went, no, you can't pay me enough to do that shit.
We're closed until further notice.
Yeah, my mom had she had her birthday last week. My stepdad had like this gathering, he called it, in the backyard. But it was one of those things where it's like they all acted like they were like, oh, we're social distancing. It's like, this is so redundant. And then, like, to top it off, but everybody was like touching like the tequila bottles because it was like Mexican themed. We got Casablanca. That was awesome. I was happy about that. But everybody had their own little individual trays, so nobody touched the same food that wasn't in the same house. And then to top it off at the end, like we're doing happy birthday. My mom, the candles, and then my mom blows it out. And then nobody wanted to eat cake because she blew on the cake.
Well, it's like rest.
What else is that supposed to do? It's her birthday. It's her 16th birthday. What is she supposed to do? Not blow out the candles?
No, she's supposed to use one of those air blasters.
Just get a little fan.
Right.
And just...
I was the one that lit the candles, and I had my Mandalorian helmet on. So, like, I'm lighting the candles with the candles, and I try to blow it out. It's not blowing out. I shake it. It's not going out. So I just started smacking it. It was pretty funny.
Just get one of those little mini fans and just like lightly breeze over it, and then it'll eventually go out.
There it is.
Yeah,
there it is.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, good for me. I know.
For you.
I have to do it
that. Is that the soundboard clip that you guys feel like you use the most often, or is there one that is like
Alan
the reigning champion?
The Alan one gets played quite a bit.
It's that one or the Alan one, or
the Tom Cruise gets a lot of play.
Is that from the Mummy trailer when they released it with the sound all messed up?
Yes, that is the Mummy trailer.
Yes, yes,
so.
it is. The one that they cut out of the actual movie.
When he's like falling, when the plane's falling down or whatever.
I've got a question because Zipper, you've played IG before. I've got one. Since you've played IG before, how do you feel about people putting IG slices on the teams and singles wheel?
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Yeah.
Well, no.
Thank you. Perfect. Short and sweet. Fuck it. Why not?
Well,
Yes.
Because Chandra kind of got in trouble for his opinion on our show. He said he likes the idea.
Yeah, we got Chandra a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, a little bit of it came out that when they were talking on backstage, they screwed up. They were talking about our show and not the other one. But that actually means that Christian actually watches our show, but he
really? Don't screw
respond to our show coming on and joining us.
I guess I should swear less.
I thought it was fans. I thought you were talking about like trouble with fans.
But no, he said he likes the idea of it, but not to overdo it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Rachel, she kind of said that they're movies. What the fuck? They're just in a specific category.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
And frankly, as much as it is a smaller category than most of the singles or teams categories, like there are directors or actors who have slices that aren't considerably larger than like the number of movies in the MCU. You know what I mean? Like it's at the lower end, but it's comparable.
Well, look at Kevin Smith or Tarantino. Tarantino's got 10 films.
Kevin Smith shouldn't have a slice.
And Kevin Smith's got pretty close to the same. So I mean,
that's like a very niche audience. Like I don't think that should have a slice. I think that should be like coming of age movies or whatever you would call it. Yeah. I don't even know what you would call it.
I'm really glad that some of those small filmographies are in there. Like Paul Thomas Anderson has 7 or 8 movies, you know, it's like, but I'm glad he's in there because I've seen them all multiple times.
Right.
Like just in a broader category. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Just like broad category. So like comic book movies, that's like just one category. Or like, you know how in Inner Geekdom there's Marvel and then there's MCU. Maybe in like the regular trivia, just in the regular division, just have it be Marvel and DC, broaden it a little more and just group them all together. But that may be confusing for some people that are crossing over divisions.
Yeah, I think part of it though is also just the fact that like the slices physically exist. You know what I mean? Like the slices from Inner Geekdom matches are there and they're sitting there near the wheel, and so it's just like such an easy process to be like that one. As opposed to making separate slices for hyper-specific like situations. But I get that. Yeah, it's very specific. It's But I don't know. I'm fine with it. I think that if you are going to be playing against an Inner Geekdom player who you know might put one of those categories up, it's no different than playing against somebody who you know is going to put like rom-coms or Julia Roberts or something else. It's just a slightly more specific category.
Like kind of like Bateman and movie release dates. If you're playing Bateman, you know movie release dates is going to be on that wheel.
I would be an Inner Geek if I was in the Schmodown.
Or
It's for you.
There it is.
Like,
He did it to himself. Yeah, good for you, man.
there you go. He did it to himself.
He did it to himself.
But
I
no,
do
I
this
mean,
stuff every night, people.
Oh, stop.
Look, we all do. It's quarantine.
That's true,
baby.
man. We're quarantined, baby. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It's the
But I
sound of
mean-
one hand clapping. We all know it.
yeah. But with the categories, though, I feel like.
That was a well-timed screen.
It was.
But with the categories, though, I feel like they're not going to be as deep cut in just the general movie trivia, you know, like regular singles, as it would in Inner Geekdom, too. So I don't see why
think that's
people would
true.
complain. So,
I don't
like,
either.
'cause it's no different than, you know, it's like no different than putting Star Wars on than, say, you know, dramas or, say, coming of age or Oscar movies. I mean, it's pretty much the same. I mean, you're not going to go way too deep into like the Marvel stuff. That's going to be more for Inner Geekdom, and same with like Star Wars and whatnot.
I feel like that has
That's how
been
I-
true so far too. Like I do feel like
Yeah.
the Star Wars questions that have been asked in the general matches have been easier than the ones asked in the Inner Geekdom matches, have been easier than the ones asked in the Star Wars matches.
The
Like,
Star
there's-
Wars matches are like that frustrates
Insane.
okay,
me.
How many-
It's still called the movie trivia Schmodown, and a lot of those questions, those answers aren't found in the movie. But they had Christian did address that, and now that I understand that, like with the Star Wars division itself, they pull from a much broader like spectrum of like source material.
Because they've already
again,
asked so many questions.
yeah, you can only ask so many questions. Exactly.
Well, it's like how many horns were on Darth Maul's head? I was sitting in the audience when that question got asked, and
Me too.
everybody around me looked at each other like, "Are you shitting me?" And
How
they
much
know
was it?
right up 10.
Oh, it's like 10.
I was sitting next to Sean Sullivan, who just leaned over and went 10. So I was like, all right, man. Okay.
All right.
Well, I was sitting
Jesus.
next to oh my god, why can't I think of her name?
Kate.
No, she was
Rachel.
playing Alex Damon in the
Molly?
Star Wars match.
Laura.
Laura. I was sitting next to her sister, and she whispered over to me, went 10, and she knows it. And I'm like, how the fuck do you guys get to that point? Like, okay, I'm going to sit here and count how many horns is on this person's head. It just...
Yeah, no idea.
0. No.
It's like
They're not horns, they're actually phalanges.
But Subrath, our other mod, whatever, of this channel, wants to know, how did you and Wilson get into the showdown?
Yeah, so I got involved thanks to Winston, actually. He and I went to college together, and we're in the same theater department. And he's one of the few people from college that I am sort of still in touch with, but I actually hadn't seen him for like almost a year. And then I guess he met Christian, and they were talking, and Christian was like, yeah, we need more teams. If you have a friend who really knows movies, like, come in and be a team. And he thought of me and gave me a call. And I had seen a few matches. I hadn't been like a diehard Schmodown guy. Like, when one would come across my field of vision, I'd be like, ooh, and I would watch it. And then when he called me, I was like, fuck, yes, let's do that.
Winston's introduction.
Winston Duke?
No, not Winston Duke. But it does have something to do with that. Winston's introduction as Winston Duke, for You Want to Get Crazy, We Can Get Crazy, still one of my favorite entrances.
So good. So good. Before
Did he
one
ever
of
do
our
any-
matches, he and I were like the night.
No, you
go ahead.
Sorry. No, you're right. Sorry.
You're good. He and I were frantically the night before a match trying to figure out our entrance and desperately trying to see if we could get our hands the gym clothes from Pulp Fiction, so we could have like the Santa Barbara like banana slug shirt and the John Travolta and Sam Jackson, but we couldn't get it in time. We were like, 12 hours before like who has?
Damn.
Fast food cups are the most important part of that costume.
That's also true.
Did you and he ever do any stand-up together?
Yes, actually, we did. A couple years
Because I know
after
you
we
used to do stuff at
graduated.
the comedy sports and that.
Yeah, I still perform at comedy sports. I mostly do improv. I used to do a decent amount of stand-up. And a few years after we graduated, Jackie Kashian did a show at our alma mater, and he and I opened for her. So that was fun.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So is that when you were in Burbank, or?
You are cyber stalking me.
He hacked your webcam.
I'm flattered and concerned.
Yeah. It's not the FBI webcam. It's great.
Well, I mean, they do have a picture of you up on the wall at Flappers, so that's all I was wondering.
Do they? Do they really?
Brent, they have a picture of you up on the wall at the post office.
I performed
Yeah, Brent has a picture of you on his wall.
Beware.
Nice.
Nice. Sorry,
I don't know how to respond to that, guys. I really don't know where to go.
I don't either.
Matt, I'm sure you
hey.
got something to say.
Hold on. I got to go. I got to break out of here. But Zip, it was pleasure meeting you, brother. And if you're ever in Oahu, you got a free place to stay, free tour guide. So, I'll look forward to watching the next matches, brother.
Thanks, man. You take care. Have a good night.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right,
Mr. Allen.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys tomorrow.
All
All right, aloha.
Shit, that's tomorrow.
Yes, that's smart.
Son of a bitch.
Days don't mean anything anymore.
No, yeah, Devin was just like, "Oh shit, that's tomorrow."
Today's
What is a tomorrow?
I literally signed the date as the 32nd of September because I didn't know anymore.
No, Eric, Matt, the guy to your be right, and I were discussing it, and yes, him.
Yeah.
Him. We're discussing it one night, and we decided to do a charity stream starting tomorrow about 4 or 5 o'clock Eastern until whenever the hell we decide we're going to call it quits. We're going to do a charity stream. We've got a GoFundMe set up. So that's why you keep hearing us refer to tomorrow. Your manager's actually going to drop in for a little while.
Rad.
So-
when is it happening to/from?
Tomorrow from so it would be about it'll be about 1-2 o'clock our time till whenever the hell we decide to quit.
Yeah.
I will add you to the group if tomorrow you get bored and you decide you want to jump in and just hang out. We're just gonna have people cycle through, and we're just gonna shoot the shit. We'll talk wrestling. We're gonna talk movies. We're going to talk whatever. I've got some of my friends who run an extreme haunted house or an extreme terror experience, as they call themselves, coming over, and we're going to sit down and have an interview with them. And one of our people that our channel supports, the Extreme Screams guys, Taryn's going to be joining us, and he's going through their experience here pretty soon. So they're going to mess with his head. Shout out to the Truthers and Extreme Screamers actually watching us now. Subrath, the link's in the chat if you decide you want to actually jump in.
Yeah.
So that's why we keep bringing it up tomorrow. Tomorrow is kind of a big thing.
I'll definitely try to stop by.
So what time
that sounds
start
amazing.
again, man?
About 4 or 5 Eastern.
Yeah, 5
Okay.
Eastern is when I was planning on. And then I won't be in the entire time because I do have to eat. And then
You ate last
because
week,
we have
man.
data
That'd be
caps, I'm going
great.
to try to not use all of it before the month ends, which actually isn't too far from now. But yeah, I mean, it's like Matt's going to do his wrestling show on there, and then I'm sure we can cut it out and then put it on the channel whenever, like Thursday. Is it Thursdays it goes up? Or is it Fridays? Thursday. Okay.
It's supposed to be Thursdays, but unfortunately, the last few weeks I've had shit come up. I completely forgot that Thursday was Thursday.
Thursday? You keep saying Thursday, but what's that word?
Monday, one day. Tuesday, Tuesday.
Third
The third
day.
day.
It's the third day of the week.
Yeah. Third day, Wednesday, what day? third day. Thursday.
31st.
It's
It's
the
like
day,
that song, I don't like Mondays.
It's that time when the sun comes.
It's a holiday.
It's that time when the sun comes up, and it's after the night AEW comes on, and the night before SmackDown comes on. So I'm supposed to do something on that night, but unfortunately, I got half-ass turned around the other night and forgot it was that night.
What day would that be, Matt? Is that Tuesday?
You know,
We're all confusing these days.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's all blending at this point.
Exactly.
So, but no, Matt's gonna do his wrestling thing. We're supposed to do our NFL show. That was supposed to start a few weeks ago, but I wanted to wait till there was something to talk about, and then we'll, shoot the shit, talk movies.
Sounds awesome.
Do a bunch of random stuff, and then
All right.
we'll end it whenever.
I've got one more question to ask just before I go. So, Eric, do you still do your Dalek and your Bane impersonations when you're stuck in traffic, when you're bored?
You need to have Bane off now.
Oh, shit.
I think the car impressions have progressed, not necessarily in quality, but in variety since then. But traffic is 100% my favorite time to practice like accents or impressions, especially because about a year ago, the radio in my car stopped working. And so sometimes I use a Bluetooth speaker, but sometimes I just talk to myself like an insane person. So, yeah.
I guess that's one thing you miss now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome meeting you. Take it easy. I gotta head off.
You too, man. Take care.
See you tomorrow.
Yep. See you later.
See you, Grant. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
What are some of your
Or
your
today. I don't
best
know
impressions?
My favorite one to do. So I did a show in college where I had to have an Eastern Texas dialect, and then I realized that if you add just a little bit of Surfer Dude, a little bit of California, you get Matthew McConaughey. Yes, you do. But Matthew McConaughey's fun. All right. I don't know. Exactly.
I've never used that one before tonight. It's always been there, I've just never used it.
Nikki does a hell. Nikki does a hell of a Bernie.
Oh, can I hear it?
I do a good Bernie and I do a good Jar Jar Binks. Devin does a good Bane. So I'll start with Bernie because I need a topic. So what's Bernie talking about?
Bernie is talking about.
Oh, I got a topic.
Corona and healthcare.
Zipper gets to choose.
Corona and healthcare.
Bernie is talking about the whether or not the light in the refrigerator stays on when you close the door.
Okay, this is very concerning to me. We have a lot of electricity. Our electricity bills are too high. Americans can't pay their electricity bills because they can't pay for healthcare. What are you going to pay? You're going to pay your electricity bill, or you're going to pay for healthcare? You need to pay for healthcare. If they had free healthcare, they wouldn't have to worry about paying their electricity bill or their healthcare bill. Now, the electricity bill is very concerning. Some of the new refrigerators that they've made in the last 35 years, if you close the door, there's a little sensor. It'll hit the switch. It'll push it down, turn the light bulb up. But there are still some Americans, like myself, that do not have that new fancy style refrigerator. We have one of those old lead line refrigerators that Harrison Ford saved from a nuclear bomb. An actual event happened in historical history. Harrison Ford can survive a nuclear bomb from having one of those old style fridges. Now those fridges, the light always stayed on in those fridges. So I do say we need to update all refrigerators so that our electricity bills can be down so that Americans don't have to worry about electricity or healthcare. We all need healthcare. Healthcare is important.
I like you're getting tired at the end.
And welcome, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome our other mod, Mr. Subrath, to his first After Dark.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I got to work on. Got to work on my Babu Frick.
It's good to be here.
So we were doing impressions, Subrath. My next impression that I have is the Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, good for you.
So
Yeah,
I
good
think
for you.
okay. I want to set this one up. I think Jar Jar Binks needs to be talking to Bane about blowing up the Gotham football football field.
Mr. Meet this bum bad guy named Ben, and he's to blow up the football stadium. Ben Roethlisberger, he's a deserve to be boom boom. But Heinz Ward was there, and he's a good guy. He's a survived. Ben can't be so. He spared Heinz Ward. Heinz Ward could have died, but Ben knew that Heinz Ward would be able to outrun that explosion. Me should propose that we should give emergency powers to Bane. Bane, what are you saying?
Okay.
Why did you blow up the stadium? Was it because Ben Roethlisberger did those horrible things? Terrible things.
I'm starting to suspect that Nikki was actually the. I'm starting to suspect that Nikki was the actual. No, I'm starting to suspect that you're the original voice cast of Jar Jar Binks.
Mika, what do you say?
I appreciated it for the Bane that the veracity of, instead of doing this, going for the full face.
We're gonna build a Bane mask. We built these Mandalorian helmets. We will build a Bane mask as soon as we can repair the printers, because 3D printers take a lot of maintenance.
I believe that.
It's awful. Like my back was killing me this morning because I was trying to get the printer to working, because I want to print out. We have our own family trivia divisions, and I'm working on these belts so that we can actually pass around the belts to the champions. And I got to work on a helmet for beer. I got to work on something for my niece. There's a lot of crazy stuff. Everybody's got orders, high demand, and the filament. Like, I guess there's like downcharge in filament right now, so it's terrible, or upcharge in filament. So I mean, it's good for me. But I'll shut up.
It's like I know so little about that whole world, but it seems like a super like hardcore hobby that requires like a lot of work.
Yeah, these actually were one of the like smoother things that came out of the 3D printer. These were kind of
You made
effortless.
that's amazing.
Oh yeah, that's Joshua Kuga and Ken Knapsack of the afternoons. I gotta send them this idol.
That's okay. They're supposed to be making a mask for Video Drew.
Yeah, but she needs to give me design input. I haven't gotten. I asked her about she's got to give me the design. I can't just give her anything. It's got to be a Drew mask. So yeah, this is for Makuga and Ken. They requested this about 10 months ago, and I still haven't given it to them because I'm terrible. Yeah,
So Subrath, this keeps popping up in the chat. Are you gonna finally admit that you're gonna whoop Chris Day's ass at Titan Mania?
Well, I've not prepared that much. I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna talk shit and work my way into it, just like how Winston does.
Wow. Because that's popped up a few times, because right as you were getting on, Day decided to join the chat, and I have seen literally he literally put hashtag I'm beating Subrath in Titan Mania. So
he just talks too much. He just talks too much. I just want to shut him up. But
Good for you.
that was directed at Day. I love you, Day, but that soundbite was made for Day.
It really was.
Yeah, it should have been for him. Maybe you could show up, in the match, and every time he talks shit, you can just push that button and he just shut up.
Yeah, true. And hey, listen, if you're a little late to the match, don't worry, because before it starts, he's going to walk around for 25 minutes like The Rock, and then he'll
exactly, yeah.
down, so
and he's gonna put on some kind of face paint, which was creepy.
Illogical.
Yeah.
Illogical.
Just don't have to do his
Nikki, this is the way.
This is the way.
I got you, Subrath. I got you. This is actually
this is basically their stick. They just
This is the way.
every time we say this is the way, they just put on the helmets and.
I gotta
Wait.
get all of the "This is the way" sound bites. Like I can have
Those
Homer
Star
saying
Trek.
it, Favreau saying it.
You can't
We'll clip a soundbite out of this show. I want everybody on the count of 3 to say "This is the way." All right, 1, 2, 3. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way. Okay, yeah, that was awesome.
Okay, Eric, do you think we'll ever see the Snyder Cut? This is another thing that we have.
I'm convinced that it should have been released during the quarantine.
We can't see something that doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not even. They all
Didn't those remote say
it's not real?
They all said it existed. No, Zipper, you've been cool up until now, but no, the Snyder Cut exists.
It's about as real as that Duel the Fate script.
You gotta give me hope, all right, man. This is all I
think
have.
I think some version of it probably does exist. I think if you're willing to see a version of it that has incomplete special effects and like animatics and stuff, then yeah.
But that's how we got Clone Wars back. That's what Clone Wars, this season of Clone Wars started as, was those animatics. And look what we have now. It's amazing.
But they're
I have
to move
hope.
on. They're trying to move on. Why
looks better than it does in the movies.
Here's the thing, though. I personally, and I no judgment of anyone that likes him, as someone that really can't stand Zack Snyder as a filmmaker, I'm fine with us never seeing the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, I don't need to see it.
What?
I need it. Because Justice League was terrible, and I need it to be good.
Justice League, to me, was slightly less terrible than Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. So.
What?
It was fine.
See, I'm one of these people. I actually found things that I enjoyed about all 3 of those movies. I'm just gonna be. I mean, I didn't like them. They're not good movies by any chance, but I found things I enjoyed about them.
Yeah,
I love Batman versus Superman.
I feel like if they had. Oh, I love Dark Knight Rises. I am a huge fan of Dark Knight Rises.
I was just letting Bale know because he's kind of.
For me personally, it was the Dark Knight. For me personally, it was the Dark Knight. It's the second one, the Dark Knight, for me.
It's good. They're all good. It's a great trilogy.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I kind of wish that Ben Affleck had played Batman in those because I think Ben Affleck was just cut to be Batman, but that's just me.
I do not want to hear Ben Affleck trying to do
Christian Bale's Batman.
Do you think? Wait. Where did they go?
Bale had deserved a chance to defend himself there. All right.
Look. Let's be real. I don't want to hear Ben Affleck have a raspy voice when he's Batman. Okay, I like him in the Zack Snyder stuff.
But he didn't though.
Bale did. And
I liked him in Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad may be the best on-screen Batman that we get in a movie because he's just like this scary force of nature in Suicide Squad. Like he barely says anything, and it's just like, oh shit, Batman.
See, that's what I like in Batman versus Superman, where he goes to save Martha Kent. That whole scene where Alfred drops him there to the point that he saves her was fantastic. Like,
that's a good scene.
I mean, but I have Caleb. I took Caleb to see it, and it was just him and I. So there's kind of a special thing for me there. I mean.
Yeah, I will say the beginning of BVS, where it's the whole, attack on Metropolis, but in Bruce's point of view, that was great. I will say that was really cool. And then after that, it was shit with some good moments.
I have to admit, I haven't watched Brightburn yet. I need to do that. I have stars on demand.
Neither.
It's fine.
If your expectations are low, you'll like it.
Most movies, I don't have high expectations for.
That's what I say about everything.
So I go in not really having expectations, so I'm blown away. Just like when I saw Shazam, I kind of had. I
love Shazam.
Yeah, it's great.
Shazam bothers me. I like the first 2 acts of Shazam, and then the third act of Shazam, it kind of just like
We got the family.
Get out of my stream.
My only real problem with Shazam is that the guy that plays him when he's not Shazam and Zachary Levi, that they didn't match up their performances at all. They don't feel like they're the same person. Yeah.
He looks too pouty.
And here's the thing: Shazam is supposed to be Billy at his peak, at his prime. Yeah. So Billy at his prime should not be 50-year-old Zach Levi. You know what I mean? But Billy at his prime would be the kid that plays Billy at 18, like now.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably should have casted somebody as energetic as Zachary Levi.
Yeah. Subrat said he had to hop out because it's morning for him and he's got stuff going on. But that's the first time that Subrat actually joined us for After Dark. Yeah. So cheers for that. But yeah,
I looked over and saw that in the middle of it happening and was very freaked out for a second.
Devin balances the mannequin's head on his Adam's apple. Pretty much.
Watch this. He's gonna disappear for a minute, and then watch. He's gonna come back with a new.
Oh no, he's just doing this. He's come back doing this.
Jackass is supposed to come back with the new head.
Try again.
But like I said, this is just us shooting the shit. So now you kind of understand what I mean. Okay.
It's so great just to see humans. It's so great just to like see and talk to people. You guys, it's amazing.
Okay, so what is there a movie because obviously we're all all of us compete in the fan leagues here. Obviously, you're in the majors. Oh, aren't you cool? Is there a movie that you would recommend for people who watch a lot of movies that most people haven't seen?
There is a movie that came out in, I want to say 2011, that was made for $9,000. It is like a tiny micro budget zombie movie called The Battery that I highly recommend. I don't know anyone else that's seen it. Most of the movie it's in a zombie apocalypse. Most of the movie is these two guys wandering around in all these wide open spaces in nature, trying to avoid zombies. And then the entire last act of the movie takes place with them stuck in a station wagon surrounded by zombies.
Ooh, that's awesome.
And it's very claustrophobic. So, it's very cool. And
it kind of ranks right up there. That kind of ranks right up there with Video Drew. She recommended Cube. A lot of people.
Oh yeah, Cube is pretty good.
I mean, it's still just a cheap Canadian version of Saw, but we won't get into that.
Doesn't Cube predate Saw? I feel like I saw Cube before I saw Saw.
Cube came out in '96, I believe. Saw came out in 2001, I believe.
Yeah. So Saw was just a high budget.
Saw was later than that, I think. Saw was like 2005.
I think it was 2005 because I was working in a movie theater at the time that it was out. And I think it was when I was like 17 years old.
You might be right. I movie release dates is not my thing.
Is James Bond? Michael Emerson's in that movie. James Glover.
Mine is Life is Beautiful.
I've never seen Life is Beautiful.
It's an Italian film. It's other than Parasite, it's the only foreign film to be nominated for Best Foreign Film as well as Best Picture.
What about Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
That came out first. I apologize. It was the first one to do it. I always get that little mixed up. Basically, the premise of the story is it takes place in Italy during the Nazi invasion, and it's about this family. This little boy, mom is sent off to, one side of the camp, and dad is sent on the other. Well, the little boy sneaks away and spends the time with dad, and the whole time, dad is gotten it in his head that the whole thing they're doing is playing a game. You can't be seen, or you get this many points, and people are getting sick, and he's going, well, they're losing, so some of their issues was to take away a little bit of food, and he brightens up to the point that the major cry your eyes out ending happens. He's still joking with his son.
That sounds really sad.
It really is. It's one of those. It's
Yeah.
gonna rip at every heartstring. I saw it in high school, and I cried my eyes out. And every time I watch it, I cry my damn eyes out.
I'm sure it's a very good movie, and it's a shame that the thing that everybody remembers about it is just Roberto Benigni stood on a chair at the Academy Awards.
Exactly.
I'm sure it's a great movie, but anytime someone mentions Life is Beautiful, I'm like, oh yeah, that guy stood on a chair.
You might be short. Some people are short.
Oh no, he's not. He's tall. He's really tall and skinny. But Benigni in this movie, he resembles Charlie Chaplin almost. His mannerisms. It's fantastic.
Charles.
How about you guys? Any under the radar other movies we need to check out?
I still say Brain Scan too. Like I love
Brain Scan is what I've seen.
94. It came out in 94. It stars Edward Furlong. Basically, it takes place in a video game. Like supposedly, this whole movie takes place during a video game, but they've set it up. It's great. Like you commit a murder, and then you have to go back and cover it up, and then somebody sees it, so you have to commit another murder. It's fantastic.
Right. Brain Scan.
Yeah,
Edward
Letterboxd. Yeah, it came out in
tired of that guy
94.
getting shot.
Okay.
Everybody shits on it, but it's so fun.
He gets shot a lot, though. You know what I mean? Like he just gets shot a lot.
Well, he's got a cop, a liquid Terminator chasing him dressed as a cop. He's gonna get shot.
And regular Terminators, but he gets shot in American History X. I think he gets shot somewhere in Brain Scan.
He almost dies. You're right. That's
Poor
funny.
kid gets shot so much. I mean,
and
he was
he's
great
a-
in Terminator. With the last Terminator,
Dark Fate.
Dark Fate. Yeah,
I still haven't seen that.
it's good. Edward Furlong is there.
Yeah, Chris Day was supposed. Chris Day was supposed to send me his Voodoo account or whatever, so I could watch it. And he still hasn't done it.
I like it.
I just watched. I watched Escape Room today for the first time. As somebody who's really into immersive theater, and I like being scared and thrown around like that and so forth. I really enjoyed it. Like it was fun.
I like the girl from Daredevil.
Deborah Wool.
Deborah Ann Wool. Deborah Ann
Yeah.
Wool. She was also
She
in
needs to
True
be more
Blood.
stuff. Every interview,
Yeah.
she's saying like it's really hard for her to like get jobs ever since like Daredevil was canceled.
And True Blood. She's kind of typecasted. This kind of.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch True Blood, she's kind of this innocent sort of
victim,
younger, and she's got typecast in it. She said everything she gets offered is that, and she's like, I don't want that. I want to be something else.
You should dye her hair.
Right.
Dyeing your hair does a lot if you're trying to like change personalities and stuff like that.
Or growing a mustache.
That's good.
Apparently.
Especially if
Grow a
you're
mustache.
very bold choice.
She would book all kinds of roles. I had
I
a
don't think
roommate
she
who grew a
did that,
mustache
though,
and started booking stuff immediately.
She'd be in Hangover 4.
A mustache would make her less attractive, and if I was in a casting position, I may not be ready to cast a woman.
Speak
with
for
a mustache.
yourself, first of
What if
all.
they had to CG it off?
Yeah, that's my.
Nikki, we respect
Okay,
women
wait.
with mustaches here, okay?
I don't
Yeah,
want
but
not
I
take
think
that.
Devin wins that one. CGI it off.
I want the mustache cut so badly.
Yes.
Oh,
Give
me
the
too. I
mustache
want
cut,
that as well.
Snyder cut any
But I'd
day.
rather have the Snyder cut because the Snyder cut has potential to actually be good.
If they pull
I
them
wanna-
together and do the Snyder cut with the mustache, I'm in.
Yeah, I want
That's
They
how
wouldn't
get
have
on
any of
board.
the mustache footage in the Whedon cut
Oh,
because that was
I
all
need
Whedon.
that stash.
The thing I
I
hate
need
about
the
that
stash.
is
I
that
think he
you
looked
can
pretty
have
boss with it.
Joss Whedon shot.
Mhm.
He looked pretty boss with the mustache. Like he looked like an 80s porn star or a cop in an
loaded
80s buddy cop film.
He smacked
No, I
the guy
thought that
in the
was
head with
for.
a laptop.
I thought that was for Man from Uncle.
No,
It was.
No, for Mission Impossible.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it was for Fallout.
Yeah.
When he
Remember
can
he went back
load
on the
his
computer?
arms.
And then he became Two-Face.
For like 5 seconds.
Yeah, spoiler
Yeah.
alert.
Yeah.
I do like Henry
Rock climbing.
Cavill.
Best part of that movie
he
though
was
was
a good
rock
Superman.
Best part
He
was what?
looks-
Mission
what?
Impossible Fallout.
Oh.
As soon as I saw the rock climbing, I yelled in the theater. I was like, "Rock climbing!" Because that was the stupidest
Call back
part
to the
of
second
Mission
movie.
Impossible 2.
Yeah.
But when I saw it in Mission Impossible Fallout, I'm like, "Oh my god, it's relevant!"
Okay, question for you guys. Can you guys think of a series that is more consistently good than the Mission Impossible movies?
Andy Newton. I was just thinking of Mission Impossible 2. I'm sorry.
Just Andy Newton in general? I mean, you're not wrong.
General.
I thought you.
I can't think of a more consistent franchise, and it all started with J.J. Abrams. Like J.J. Abrams reinvigorated that franchise.
Yeah.
Even
I mean, the first one is really good. De Palma.
the first one's good.
Second
But, like,
one,
No, you're right.
is-
They progressively get better as they go
Yeah.
on, which is awesome. I wasn't a real fan of the first. Maybe I didn't see the first one at the right time. I wasn't really a big fan of it. Like
It's
my
weird.
problem.
It's like a weird movie.
Well, like
I was
my
too young when I saw the first one, I think.
I can't really get into Bond either. I don't know why. Just the spy espionage kind of movies don't really sit that well. Just like westerns, they almost get predictable. But with Mission Impossible, the way they kind of reframed it, it got progressively better. Like I'm genuinely excited when they announced there's a new Mission Impossible movie.
They're making two, or they were making two.
They
And the
were
fact
making.
that once those two are out, Christopher McQuarrie will have done half of the 8 movies.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
And J.J. Abrams will have produced more than half of them.
Yeah.
I really like J.J. Abrams. Like, I'm a shill for J.J. Abrams. He makes things for me.
Hashtag Nikki has a man crush on J.J. Abrams.
No, the only, and it's kind of not a franchise, it's more of a trilogy. The only thing I think of that's consistently good, or more consistently good than Mission Impossible, is the Austin Powers. Because all 3 of them are really good. But I would agree that nothing is, consistently as good as Mission Impossible, but the second one came out and that's not great.
But 5 out of 6 is amazing.
Yeah.
Like for a series
Oh
that
yeah,
long.
that's great.
And
You
two
could-
has Tandy. That's what I'm saying.
You could make the argument for the Avengers movies, not the MCU, just the Avengers movie,
Maybe. Yeah.
because you think about it, the first one was awesome. The second one kind of floundered a little bit, but the 3 and 4 pick up. So you could make the argument for that.
Right.
But,
I like
but
two. It's like day in the life.
I'm kind of bummed out though that they really shot Ultron in the foot. I kind of
Could be
wish they had built Ultron up a little bit more than they did, because the Age of Ultron story, in my opinion, is one of my favorite Avengers storylines ever.
Right.
He'll be back.
Yeah, so he might be the villain in the next Avengers movie. He's like, oh, Tony's dead, now I'm back.
At this point of the Avengers 3, like big nemesis, Ultron, Thanos, the only one we haven't gotten is Kang the fucking Conqueror. So give me some. I know we already did time travel in the last movie.
I think
Galactus is a Fantastic Four villain. I mean, and Doctor Doom should be the next Thanos. Doctor Doom should be the next
That's what I was saying.
overarching, like, yeah.
Magic-based, tech-based, space-based, everything that you want. He's like everything, and it's Earth-based too.
He's the best. He's the best supervillain of all time. I'm obsessed with Doctor Doom. I like. Yeah. I'm obsessed
And
with him.
I like the fact that with Doctor Doom, you could slowly build him in, just like you did with Thanos. Like you see Thanos in the background, and everything starts to point that he's doing this, and then all of a sudden, mic drop. I'm here. You all are dead.
Okay.
Because I think
Who do you guys think? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go first.
I was going to ask who you guys think should play Doom and Reed, because I was having a conversation with someone at the Schmodown on one of our last shoot days, and something we realized was that most of the names that we would suggest for either Doom or Reed also worked for the other one. Almost anyone that would be good for one of those characters could also play the other.
I would say Tom
I think
Cruise.
Oscar
I would say Tom Cruise for Doom and Krasinski for Mr. Fantastic. I know that's the popular choice and the easy choice, but it's a great choice.
I saw someone think Death Patel. That'd be interesting. Sorry, what was that? I didn't mean to
I think
talk
they're
over you.
already on the ship with Fury.
Sword.
Like the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. Like I think that the Fantastic Four are on the ship with Fury, don't have their powers yet, and then they're gonna hit the cosmic cloud on that Skrull ship. The Super Skrull will be created at the same time as the Fantastic Four. That's what I think, at least.
Super Skrull would be a really good call for the villain for their first movie, because you don't want to. I don't think you want to do Doctor Doom as the full-on villain of the first Fantastic Four movie.
Right. You get the powers at the same time. Like they could adapt the storyline. Like Civil War, it's not an exact adaptation. They take creative liberty. I think that's creative liberty they could take with the Super Skrull because they couldn't use him before.
Right.
I like Krasinski for Reed, and I know he's been in X-Men before, but I'd really like to see Fassbender as Doom.
Fassbender would be such a good Doom. He'd be so good.
Move metal.
Yeah. Like, I mean, obviously Krasinski's my choice for Reed, but I just saw it online pretty recently as far as the Doom casting, and I'm kind of falling in love with it. I would like to see Adam Driver.
Adam Driver would also be amazing.
Maybe slightly.
I think he'd actually be a decent Reed too. I think he could play either of them and it'd be really compelling.
And now I know this is kind of in a what if sort of thing. If the Batman fumbled, like for some reason they stopped it, I think Pattinson could play a hell of a Doom too.
Yep.
There's nothing that says he can't do both though.
Like him in Good Time he shows that he's got this manipulative dark side that you want to root against him, but in the same breath you're kind of rooting for him.
I'm mad that they already used Mads Mikkelsen in Doctor Strange because I think Mads Mikkelsen was like born to play Victor Von Doom.
Yeah, he would have been great.
Yeah.
But,
he could be Galactus still if they wanted to.
That'd be cool. I'd be into that.
He could just walk out, just kind of like they did with Terrence Howard and
Next time, baby.
And where he just walks in and he goes, "Yeah, it's me."
Right.
Where he's like, "Rhodey," he's like, "Yep, that's me."
I want Ben Barnes to be Human Torch.
Who?
Human Torch. Ben Barnes.
Ooh, I like that.
That's World Punisher.
Yeah, that'd be good. But now speaking of Batman, though, as soon as you said Pattinson, somebody popped up in my mind for Doom. Colin Farrell, I think, would be good too.
Yes,
I actually kind of think he would be even better for Reed. I think you could have like a weird, gentle Colin Farrell as Reed, but again, almost anyone you suggest could play either of them. You know, like he'd be awesome
because they're two sides of the same coin. That's how it's supposed to be too.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
there you go. I got it. Danny Trejo's gonna play. He's gonna play.
Danny Trejo.
I win.
I thought you were gonna say Danny DeVito for a second, and I was like, bold pick.
Oh, that's right.
No, Danny Trejo. He's gonna be. Victor Von Doom is gonna be Hispanic, and he's gonna walk in and go, "¿Qué pasa?" And he's just gonna fuck wreck shit.
No, if they ever do the Watcher in live action form, Danny DeVito would be the Watcher because he's Danny DeVito.
Sure.
I kind of love the casting for the Watcher in the What If series they're doing on Disney Plus. I think Jeffrey Wright is like exactly the guy you get for that.
Oh, yeah.
I like him as Gordon. I like that because I'm one of these people. I actually enjoyed some of the Hunger Games series, and he was one of the best parts of it.
Yeah, he's good. So you might as well get the other soothing voice in Hollywood, Morgan Freeman, as the MCU Watcher, the live action MCU Watcher.
There you go. I see everything, but I cannot interfere.
So he played God already, so might as well put him in.
Sure.
I am God.
My favorite take on the Watcher is still. Do any of you guys watch Venture Brothers?
I have not.
But like a few times years ago.
They have a. they have a parody of the Watcher who shows up in one episode in like season 2, who is this massive alien. He's like 12 feet tall, has a giant golden like helmet on his head, and he just walks into rooms and yells, "Ignore me! I'm not here. Ignore me."
That'd be great. That would be great. See, I don't know where Matt's at.
Uh-oh.
At the moment. Now he gave a thumbs up and then just turned his camera off.
I mean, he bounced.
No, I had to plug my my charger in.
Okay. So I was wondering where you were at.
Yeah, I had to plug my charger in. Sorry.
You're good. I was just like, is his end screwing up again, or?
No, this was
Wait,
just. Yeah, I'm like a ninja. You didn't know I was gone until you saw it.
The Stitch.
Yes, Stitch.
By the way, I apologize for all the glimpses at my like disgusting armpits right now. It is so hot in my room at the moment. It's so hot.
No, you're good.
We hit 103 degrees today in Arizona. Don't apologize. And of course, our goddamn pool has a big chain and lock around our pool, so it's like sitting there. It's like, oh,
quarantine.
That sucks.
You know, so even if there was a pool, I wouldn't swim. I don't like being in water or like being around people in water.
See, or just being around people in general. It's like
I've been social distancing for the last 12 years, so this isn't anything new. Only thing that I can't do anymore is go to the movies.
Yeah, I miss the movies.
I do too. The last movie I saw was The Way Back. No, it was
Mine
Onward.
was Bloodshot.
Onward was the last one I saw.
I think mine was Birds of Prey.
Wow.
I think mine was
Sonic.
Yeah, yours was Sonic. You were sleeping the day that we went to Bloodshot. I was like, "Yeah, you want to go to see Bloodshot?" And he's like, "What?" Because he was supposed to have school that day, and then it got canceled because that was like the first day of quarantine. I was like, "Hey, you don't have school, Bloodshot?"
Bad.
Now, when I went to go see Sonic, it was on Valentine's Day, and I was alone. So I got to watch that with all these couples and little kids. That was the weirdest experience I've ever had.
That's not creepy.
Yeah,
I had to sit.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I had to sit somewhere like where nobody would be around me, and I would have like the least bit of attention just drawn towards me. I had to like sit in like a corner and just be like, "Don't mind me, okay? I'm a normal human."
My first question is, Matt, why did you put yourself in such isolation? Does that mean you were touching yourself during Sonic? Because
why?
That's something we do not discuss on live stream.
Is that
if it was an empty theater, it'd be a completely different situation. But there's kids in there and other couples. I don't need that attention. Plus, I used to work at that theater I saw the movie at, so I know a lot of the people there. So
guys, I can't get the soundboard up. I need to make a joke.
Oh God, no. No.
Power cord.
And Ryan,
there you go.
Ryan, I had thought about going to get a beer. I had to plug my computer in first.
But no, I guess because we're back to the whole quarantine thing. If I go out on vacations, I usually go to amusement parks, theme parks, and whatnot.
There it is. And thank you for calling me down to earth. I appreciate it. Not you, but the question.
Yeah. It's fine. Nobody appreciates me.
No,
but
thanks
anyway.
to you.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, so obviously, I'm thinking 2 months at the most is when everything's gonna start to lift. With places like amusement parks, how do you guys think they're gonna handle this situation? Because we're just getting out of this quarantine area. There's let's say Disney, for example. They usually make about $30 million a day just at the theme park. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think. How not just them, but other parks in general are gonna handle this whole thing. Do you guys think maybe it's gonna be like a limit on how many people get in, or do you think they're just gonna let people roam and do whatever? Maybe they have to wear masks to actually be in.
They're going to have to limit it. I think they're going to have to limit it. I also think that while we're going to see like smaller gatherings and like certain restaurants and stores and stuff opening up, I think it's going to be a solid year or two before we have like concerts and conventions and like mass gatherings. And I think even then they might kind of like culturally fall out of favor.
Right. Because, I mean, especially with, you know, like the Disney parks and, you know, like in my area, we have like Cedar Point and whatnot, and all the Cedar Fair things. I think they're going to open it, but they're only going to let people who stay at their hotels go first. And it might be like okay, you guys can only go to this area. Like with Disney, like Disney World, be like, okay, you guys can only go to Magic Kingdom. You guys can only go to Epcot. And then kind of do it like that. Because especially at the theme parks there, that's just so much money Disney's losing. I mean, they might have lost over $1 billion at least, probably more, just with those being closed.
I think it's going to be a very slow process. I think.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be okay. The first 100,000 people or whatever, 30,000 or 30,000 people can go or what have you. I think it's going to be a very slow process, and I think we'll get sporting events back first.
Oh yeah.
But I think it'll be down the road, because I was reading an article today that says that the CDC thinks that this is just wave one of what's going to happen. Down the road we're going to have another hit.
Yeah, because
sorry, I don't mean to distract. You can keep going. I'm trying to catch a fly that keeps like buzzing around my head.
Let's talk about that instead, because that's not making me like
chopsticks, young grasshopper.
There you go. No, I can see that happening with the second wave, especially with like how some of the beaches have been opening. I think Georgia opened up just the state like yesterday, maybe, or maybe a couple days ago. So I think when they open everything up, people are gonna rush out, or at least a decent amount of people are gonna rush out, and I think that's where the second wave is gonna happen. I do think there's gonna be a lot of people kind of waiting it out before like going to a movie or whatever, because it's like, well, maybe this is still something, let's play it safe. But then you're gonna have other people that's like, screw it, I don't care, I'll make contact with anybody, this is over, and then we get the second wave. But no, I do agree with you. Sporting events, I think, are going to be first, and I can kind of see it similar to where it's going to be season ticket holders are going to be able to go first. That way, there's at least some people in attendance when they do games, which, I mean, I'm fine with because I'm a season ticket holder. But
so the elite get rewarded again.
I don't think so. I think it's going to be, they're going to start by doing just maybe empty arenas.
Yeah, I can see that. Say they better give me some of my money back for my ticket.
Is that Salacious Crumb?
No, it's Jake.
Oh, say I have Salacious right here.
I bet I could hang him with my glasses.
Yeah, I got this at Galaxy's Edge.
Salacious B. Crumb.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
That's a great Salacious Crumb.
Oh yeah. They cost $60.
Jake.
So where the hell?
But yeah, I can
it's
see
adventure
that.
Time.
I was curious because, I mean, I think Florida is gonna be like, screw it, everything's open. People just rush in because it's Florida.
Let's just float Florida off into the ocean.
Yeah, Florida is
we've been talking about it for forever.
Florida is just.
None of you guys are in Florida, right?
No. I love Florida. Well, certain parts of Florida. Here, he can lay down.
Do we sound like we have hepatitis?
Like I like the Orlando area. There's some other spots I like too, but a
Orlando!
lot of it, like once you get out of Orlando and you go to some of the other cities and whatnot, then you get into, what you would think of a Florida man, that type of area. Like if you search Florida man and then, or whatever that thing was where you put your birthday in and then you put Florida man, and it has like some weird thing like mom and daughter arrested for having meth empire or whatever. So that's most of Florida.
I could never be a Florida man because I have no heat tolerance like whatsoever. Like as soon as it gets above 75 degrees, I want to die. So like just stepping off a plane in Florida, it's like landing on an alien planet where I can't breathe
it's
the
nuts.
air. It's just
Perfect day,
nope.
60 degrees and cloudy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
You'd love it.
Like
freezing all the time.
Sounds amazing.
Right. Like I can handle, you know, when it's like 80, 85 degrees. But once you get to that 90, 95, 100, then I'm out. At that point,
Oh, good.
It sucks at that point. But like I'm fine with 80 degrees. You know, that especially when it's breezy, whatnot, it it can feel good, especially, where I'm at. But no,
What states are you guys in, if you don't mind me asking?
Massachusetts.
Indiana.
Like way at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up there.
Yeah, and it's yep, where I'm from, Indiana, it's, super sunny, 1 hour, next hour it's snowing, and then now it's 85 degrees, and then it's 20 degrees 20 minutes later. It's like we have all 4 seasons in like a day sometimes. So, yeah, it's rough.
And Peyton Manning.
Yeah, we had Peyton Manning too, so there was that. That's all we're known for.
Is that really though? Well,
Yeah,
I mean, you at least have the Indianapolis 500, so I mean,
Yeah,
and the
500's nice. It's nice.
I mean, so you guys, you know what? You leave my NASCAR alone, damn it.
I got the 88 hat on right now. Who are you talking to?
I don't know, Matt.
Man, same team.
No,
I mean,
I'm fine.
No, Matt's a racist to NASCAR fans.
How can I be racist to NASCAR fans when a
I
lot
do
of them
not
are
know
white?
if it means what you think it means.
We look.
The term is Spanish.
I have a very
Fascist.
similar nationality to a lot of NASCAR fans. Okay,
Fascist.
You fat
see,
ass.
that might fit a little better.
Fascist.
Nah, it's whatever. It's not the NFL or NBA or MLB or NHL or
Hey, Matt.
any of the others.
By the way, it's come out that they believe it was this was started by a person that actually ate a bat. Do you have any comment to that?
Look, I've been digging into this for a while now. Ever since I said that it might actually be a chemical thing. There's this weird thing, the Bill Gates hack thing going on where, him and the Wuhan Medical Institute or whatever, and I don't even know, some other institute, had planned this thing. I don't believe that. I don't think Bill Gates would do that. He's too worried about counting his money. Okay.
What?
So no. Look, if it's bats, why did you have to eat a bat? Okay.
I just found out that my cousin's wife is one of those people that thinks it's 5G towers.
Oh, I know some of those people.
There you go, Ryan.
The 5Gs.
I heard that rumor, and it's kind of funny that people would actually go that far.
I see. 5G could be weird. I mean, I don't think there's anything around me that has like 5G towers. Like maybe Chicago. That might be
They're
the closest.
building something outside of my apartment complex.
I mean, I don't know. 5G I don't think has anything to do with it. Okay, I don't think it does. Isn't 5G pretty new? And this whole thing started, I think, in December. Is when reports are starting to come out.
I think they started putting towers and stuff up probably towards the end of last year, but it's not there's no correlation. Two things happening at the same time does not automatically mean they're related.
Right.
Correlation is not causation.
Like 5G is just going to give us better connection.
Are you guys trying to get Ryan like
I'm trying to kill Ryan. Did you watch this?
Our friend Ryan posted in the chat a little while ago that he's going to take a shot every time he hears that. So we're going to encourage our over the age of 21 friend to continue to drink.
Yes, this is very important to state. Ryan Payne is over the age of 21. We gotta state that.
Yeah, must state that so this doesn't get flagged and Matt and I lose another video.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like Video Drew, didn't try and get us shut down anyways by her video.
Oh, yeah.
Very memorable for
Copyright stuff. Look, coronavirus has started in China. Fun fact: China does not have 5G yet. There you
5G
go.
doesn't
There we go.
There you
Because
go.
Jacob's our man inside the world of telecommunications, so he would know that.
Yes.
In other words, he works at a Verizon store.
Yeah.
Live from Kamina, the bounty hunter called Django Fett. His chase for him.
Hit it again.
He's coming for you all.
One more.
I'm sure you are.
Stop trying to murder him with yeehaws.
Again. Again.
He said he was coming for me. That's
Nikki,
the first time.
again. Do it again.
Okay.
There you go. For now, I think if this thing was caused by bat, though, I think whoever eats bats after seeing all this are probably going to stop eating bats. I would say flies. Or, eat literally any other meat.
So sorry to interrupt. All of this talk of drinking on all the yeehaws has made me want a beer, so I'm going to run to my fridge. I'm not abandoning you. I'll be right back.
Beer right here.
I kind of like that idea. I think I'm gonna do the same thing. I'll be back myself. I'm gonna go pee and get a beer. I'll be right back.
So now it's me
Beer and
Nikki
Devin.
We're gonna all run the show now, guys. Me and Devin are running the show. Here we go. How are you doing, Devin?
I still exist.
You still exist.
Life couldn't have been that bad if I'm still here.
There you go. Yeah, no. It's interesting. So I wonder how long it's going to take these guys to get their drinks and whatnot. Use their restroom. Okay, we got Eric coming back.
He's already coming back.
Okay, so we got. So take a drink, Ryan. All right. So Matt and Nikki decided to leave us to get drinks and go pee whatnot. So we're running it now. Wait, what was that?
I don't think Nikki's trying to get a beer.
Oh, he just left. He's left to do whatever. No. I guess speaking of beers and whatnot, what is your favorite alcohol beverage, Eric?
Whiskey.
Is there a certain brand that you prefer?
No, I mean, I as a generally poor person, I will gladly drink cheap, bad whiskeys. But anytime someone gives me like a really good one, I'm like, oh my god. One time, me and some friends sat around a campfire drinking Johnny Walker Blue out of the bottle, which felt really disrespectful to the whiskey, but also felt right.
Oh, now we got Nikki with his mini idol.
Great.
I thought that was a ring for a second, actually.
Honey, I shrunk the kids.
I have developed quantum technology.
There we go. Like, Nikki's now rich. Won't support any of us.
Oh yeah.
That's okay.
Billionaire.
Yep. Well, give me a little bit.
But yeah, no, I'm mostly not a drinker. I'll have beer or whiskey every now and then, but I'm mostly just a big old stoner.
Yeah, I'm not much of a drinker either. Say I used to.
That's fair. Honestly, that was fair. That one was fair.
Yeah.
My grandmother had like 3 drinks every time I went out to dinner with her. And now I realize that that's how she survived as long as she did.
Right. Now
that's the secret.
It was now the only time I would ever drink is like social gatherings if some friends are having a little get together. Yeah, on the internet,
When you have a camera alone just pointing at you drinking.
Crying myself to sleep every night.
Now, that's a different situation. That's what they're doing.
Yep.
That's why I went and got this, because like it's been sitting in my fridge. Because what am I gonna sit and drink a beer alone? I was like, no, I'll save it until something social. This counts. We're hanging out. counts. I get to drink beer now.
I'm worried that there's
Socializing.
at Evan's house. I got his dad beers one time, like a 6-pack of Angry Orchard, and they've been sitting there. And every day I look at him, I'm like, should we drink these? Should I drink these? Should I offer it? Well, because it's just gonna I think those ones go bad.
I don't know if they do.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I feel bad because I broke one of them.
You did break one of them. At least you didn't break that banana.
Mostly the fault of okay, that's something else.
No, you didn't break it. The floor and the fall broke it.
The fridge fell apart. All right, and the Angry Orchard just jumped off of that bottom shelf.
Hey, my client, the fridge, isn't here to defend himself, Your Honor.
No,
yeah, but you're.
It's kind of like something Dagnino said last week. Everybody deserves a
just walking
lawyer.
I'm just walking outside.
It was amazing.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
It was literally an hour and a half of him just telling us life lessons.
Conversation.
Stock fashion.
Talking to Dagnino is an adventure every time.
He was the nicest guy.
He's
I
so
was
nice.
not expecting to have that much in common with him.
Oh yeah, he's great. Something that I've noticed is that you guys are people that we watch obviously on a regular basis. Yeah. We play in our fan leagues and so forth, so we kind of look towards you guys. The fact that you are real people, I'm
real-ish. I'm like semi-real.
Well, like
80%.
Transparent.
Like Guy and Bateman. Like if you watch them in Schmodown, they're real hard asses, especially when they were team action. But if you get to know them out of character, they're great guys.
Yeah,
it's a very weird entity for that reason, both like socially and as like a thing people watch, because we're all playing characters, but we're also all using our real names, and so the lines very much do like kind of blur together a little bit. Yeah, it's weird, but everyone is so nice. Like, I was so nervous because my first showdown thing I went to, well, I did one match and then I went to the free-for-all and met everybody, and I was so nervous about going to like a large group of people, and then I was like, oh, A, I can just talk about movies, and B, everyone here is amazing.
Yeah, like it's spectacular. Kel was like, he's like, what if I don't really get along with people? He was nervous, like on the train, because we were staying literally across the street from the convention center and the Staples Center.
Yeah.
Like our Airbnb, you open the window, you're looking at the convention center to kind of give you an idea of where we were. So we took a train and we literally like walked a block and a half and we were at the event. And on the way there, he's like, what if I don't know these people? I went, dude, I promise you're going to get along just... I don't know how I feel about that. He's got an Iron Man mask on with a Captain America shirt. I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay, I'm going to one-up you now. It's on the wall.
Okay, that's cool. That wins.
That's, yeah.
I got a flag. Here's the funny part. I didn't see that until I saw it on the screen. I didn't see it until I saw it on the screen. So that was great. So I want to
this is what the second hour is like. We just all literally just start screwing around.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go until either one of us starts getting uncomfortable or you go, okay, I've had enough.
I'll probably go in like 15 or 20 minutes just so I can eat some dinner. But
that works for us. Okay. All right. Somebody's got...
Oh, that almost sounded like the beginning of a Disney animated movie.
I was about to say that sounds like the. I went the opposite direction. I thought
his name is Mike Sam.
I thought the killer was getting ready to stab somebody. Yeah, that like in Psycho.
Now I can't mimic it.
It's
like when you're, oh my god, just like when you're trying to prove that the chair farted, not you, and then you're just like,
I am the chair.
I don't know what to say to that.
People sit on me. Oh no, no, that's not true.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I mean that. I don't think anybody's ever said that about me.
I'm sorry.
They didn't
Nikki.
sit on you.
Nikki wants Schmodown to come to Boston so he can try and get laid.
With you again.
I would love for Schmodown to go to Boston. Like, I just want to do one of the like live shows like somewhere.
I was ready.
Go to a place.
That was supposed to be in a few weeks, but then they had to move it because Roxy couldn't go in May. But it's good that they did because like it wouldn't have been here. And now I think the date they were shooting for is now the weekend that they're doing the Boston Marathon. So it probably didn't work out that weekend.
Fun fact, they were supposed to be at Booker T's World Gym tonight.
Today?
But not shit. Because the world ended.
Yeah.
Just fun fact, that was supposed to be tonight.
How is that fun? How is that fun, man? That's not fun. That's depressing.
Fun has been canceled.
Yeah,
Fun
it's not fun anymore.
Can we just
no.
Jump to 2021 yet? Can we just jump to 2021 yet and just say this year is canceled?
Right. Yeah.
That's what I was telling people about last year, because I had a weird year last year where I like was supposed to live with my parents for like a month while I was in between places, and then it got longer, and it was like 2019 was like a year that I pretend didn't exist, and then this year rolls around, so it's 2 years that are just a fucking wash. 2019 and 2020 aren't real. Sorry, what?
Captain America lifted Thor's hammer. We had that. We at least had that.
True, we
haven't had
have
a Marvel movie since then.
Okay, I have a theory on that. You know how people have come out and said that they think that Captain America could lift it in Age of Ultron? I call bullshit.
100% think he's faking. I think, or at least I think that's
Yeah.
how Chris Evans plays it, is that he realizes that he could, but he doesn't want to.
And then he like shrugs.
Well, see, but I have a theory that kind of contradicts that one. I think he couldn't because officially he was keeping the secret of Tony's parents' death from him.
I've heard that one.
So he was almost there, but until Civil War,
how does that make him not worthy?
Because he's keeping his
Keeping
best
a secret
friend.
to keep the team together, to keep his family together. He's protecting him.
He's keeping a lie though. He's
But did he
keeping a
know?
lie.
Thor's a liar.
But did he know at that time? Because that
No,
was
he
right
didn't.
around
He
Winter
just knew that
Soldier,
Hydra
and he
did.
just found out
He knew that it was
Bucky in
probably Bucky.
there. And Hydra was still. I
He
mean,
could
it
probably
just
put the
ended.
pieces together himself, but the way he's right, Zipper's right. The way that he plays it, Cap like shrugs, like, "No, it's just you, man." And again, it's a moment where he's trying to keep the team together because he knows that would shatter Thor's ego.
It's such a Cap thing to do.
It's such a Cap thing to do, yeah.
It
And even
really is.
Natasha even has a moment there where she's like, "No, I don't need that question answered. Like, I'm not gonna do this for you guys. I can put that thing anytime I want."
And then a few days later, Vision picks it up. It's like, "Oh, here."
World may never know.
We need to go.
I
like
love the
it.
fact that I like that her Vision just picks it up and he's like,
That's a good movie.
It is.
a good movie.
I like all of them.
Movie, but I still love it.
I think it's better than Infinity War.
Ooh.
Wow, that's a bold
Infinity War is
statement.
the first 2 acts of a 5-act movie.
Right.
Yeah, see, I'm one of these people. I just see Infinity War and Endgame as just one long movie.
Right.
Kind of like Titanic, where they had the intermission, where you had to change VHS tapes.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember that.
5.
The second act ends in after the 5 years later. That's when the second act ends. It's a 5-act structure. That's when the second act ends, and then you get Act 3. You gotta regroup. You gotta grieve, and then regroup. Then you get Act 4, Time Heist. Then you get Act 5, Battle of Earth.
I do. I love
Sorry, go ahead.
that opening scene with Hawkeye's family getting dusted breaks my heart. Like we're sitting in the theater, and it's just like,
And his line, he says, "You know how you get there. Now let's see where you know where you're going. Now let's see how you get there." And it's talking to us, the audience. We know how the movie's gonna end. We know everybody's gonna come back, but how do we get there?
It does. It just crushes my heart. Like we went opening night. The little guy and I went and saw it opening night. There were teenage girls sitting behind us, and you could literally hear their hearts breaking as Spider-Man gets dusted. I
pissed.
In 2018, Spider-Man made me cry in 4 different mediums.
Yeah, exactly.
The game made me cry. Infinity War Spider-Man made me cry. The end of Dan Slott's Spider-Man run made me cry. And I feel like there was one more. But Spider-Man just like made me cry.
Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse. And Spider-Verse. Yep. 4 times.
I'm one of these people that Spider-Verse is my favorite of all Spider-Man movies.
It's my favorite superhero movie.
I'm getting to that point.
Raimi, Spider-Man 2. That's still my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Spider-Man 2 is a great movie. I just think that Far From Home is slightly better. But Spider-Man 2, at the time it came out, that was the best superhero movie ever.
I actually like Homecoming more than Far From Home.
If I loved
but it's pretty close.
Far From Home as much as I love the second half, it would be my favorite. I think the second half of Far From Home is fucking incredible.
Oh, that's great.
As soon as you find out, it kicks into a new gear.
That's
because the first half of it, it's still it's like it's a perfect epilogue to end. And then as soon as you find out what's going on with Mysterio, it's like, okay, shit, Tony Stark's not here anymore. We have to
Most
save the
fans already knew what was happening with Mysterio,
yeah, but still, it's like
Gyllenhaal go full Gyllenhaal and be weird as fuck.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna go use the restroom, guys. We'll be right back.
Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scrap. As soon as that line happened in the movie and they showed that clip, that's where it just kicked up another notch for me. Where it's like, okay, this is an MCU movie.
Did you? If you look closely, the guy he's yelling at is Peter Billingsley, who is Ralphie from Christmas Party. Love it.
Mm-hmm. And he's now
there's your
controlling interest of Mysterio.
There's your 5-pointer for the night.
Here's a 5-pointer. Yeah.
I love Beer's thumbnail. It's just
oh no, he looks so young.
He looks like a young guy. He looks like that guy that we thought was
Yeah. He looks like Eminem's
Aaron Paul.
Yeah, he looks like Aaron Paul as a child.
You're talking about the guy that was in
Goku in the
Dragon Ball Z movie.
Justin Chatwin.
I tried to watch that for the first time recently. I only got 5 minutes into it and I couldn't do it.
Goku.
I watched that entire movie before knowing anything about the series existing, and it drove me away from ever watching the series.
I see, and the series is fantastic. That's there you go. There's one for you. Do you think, Eric? There's one for you. Do you think there should be a Studio Ghibli wheel slice?
Oh, I think if there's a Pixar wheel slice, there could be a Studio Ghibli slice. Yeah, I don't know if it needs to be, but I'm down.
Because in our family, that's that's an IG slice, which Studio Ghibli. And I always wondered if you thought that would be something that even just as just a broad category, you don't have to break it down into, anime or whatever, just Ghibli itself.
That'd be cool. Sorry, what were you saying, Nikki?
Well, no, I just say that it's a slippery slope because I remember Christian saying one time that they're not going to do questions about production companies. So if you're not doing questions about production companies, then why do categories about companies? Well, I think if it's in the movie, it's fair game. The production company in the credits. So I myself think it's fair game. It's just based off what Christian was saying. So
but you got Tyler Perry. But you got Tyler Perry though. But that you can include Tyler Perry because Tyler Perry has his own. Every Tyler Perry movie falls under the Tyler Perry banner. So I mean,
but he's also acting and directing most of these movies too.
True.
He stars in most of the movies.
Yeah, he plays about 90% of the cast in those movies.
But would you have like an A24 category? Is what I'm saying. Would you have a Lucasfilm category? Would you have a Blumhouse category?
I
I
think
would.
I think with A24 and Blumhouse, you could put those under officially festival darlings.
True. But I mean,
Yeah.
I would, because I mean, a lot of people, love A24 movies. I mean, A24 is not perfect. There's a couple stinkers in there, but most of it's good. So a lot of people love it. So I mean,
high rise or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they'll.
Hey, High Rise is good. Back off.
I like
That
High
week
Rise.
is a god. Leave me alone.
Yeah, Honey Boy is great. Disaster Artist.
I just watched Green Room recently with Patrick Stewart.
Ooh, I love that movie.
I didn't think I was gonna really like it because, I read the synopsis of it, and a friend of mine told me give it a shot. He's like, "You like Good Time? You loved Good Time." I was like, "I did." Good Time keeps inching its way higher and higher into my top 10 favorite movies. The more I watch it, just because of Pattinson's acting, and I watched it. And I watched it. Uncut Gems, I've had to watch 3 times, and I still
that movie is visceral.
It's what?
That movie is visceral.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of those movies where, I looked over to my dad 20 minutes after that movie started, and they're still just yelling. Like everybody's still just and I look at him, I'm like, we might have to leave this one. Like this is stressing me out. Yeah. And that's the reaction they wanted to go. And Kevin Garnett was actually really impressive in the movie. They created an entire script around this interview that he did after the NBA Eastern Conference Finals years ago about him holding a rock
out there.
Tell me if you agree with me, because I was talking to a friend about how badly I wanted Kevin Garnett to be in more movies after that. And I want Kevin Garnett to fight John Wick.
I want a Kevin Garnett cinematic universe. I want him to come up with a backstory to the everything's possible screaming. What was that about? Tell me where that started. He found an idol that gave him special powers that made anything possible.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we've already had NBA players and John Wick fighting John Wick. Look, I thought about yelling at, because I went to a Bulls 76ers game and their center was in John Wick 3, so I almost, because we were sitting basically court side. I think there was a row or two, or because the Bulls sucked last year, so tickets were cheap. So I thought about yelling, hey, I love doing John Wick 3.
I may lose my man card for this, but I fell asleep during John Wick 3 in the theater.
Oh.
I love that movie. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
I've got a hot take about John Wick 3. I think the violence gets a little too gratuitous.
No.
It gets a little too excessive almost.
I don't.
Because if you think about it, the first 2, the violence makes sense, but the third one almost goes a little too far over the top.
Actually, the other day I looked up. I was curious how many dudes John Wick kills in each of the John Wick movies. In the first and the third, he kills about 80 guys in each of them. In the second, he kills 130.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not denying the fact that the kill count's different, but you're talking to somebody who I thoroughly enjoy gore porn movies, like Hostel and Saw are some of my favorite movies. I like watching. I like movies like that can actually. I'm trying to figure out how to word this word to get a little too giggity. I like to see people's actions, especially facial expressions, when something is supposed to be hurting them, like how over the top they get.
What the hell, man?
Look, I could.
Is that why you have me on the show?
I could see what you're saying about the third one. Normally, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I get it. There's a lot of violence. It's over the top. But you gotta think about it. John Wick 3 is not that realistic, in a sense. He has to go to the desert and find these people and get his finger cut off.
Yeah.
So he can go back and,
I lost
go
interest
to the hotel again. It's no, it's not acceptable.
Oh, after John Wick 3? Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, it's
pressing the button.
Oh, really?
Because the thing went out.
No, let me turn it back on, Ryan. I'll turn it back on.
In what category?
Ryan is counting on us to keep him at a steady level of drunkenness. What are we doing here?
No, gotta play. Oh yeah, like 5 times.
Drink.
5 drinks. There you go. That's
6
5 drinks,
shots
man.
there, buddy.
Oh,
That is 7. You should have seen Chandra's face. We didn't give him a heads up about the soundboard, and when I introduced him, Nikki hit that button, and I thought he was gonna lose his shit.
I
So-
love Chandra. What a sweet
So-
boy.
Okay, Eric, is Chandra a face or a heel?
He's a face.
You were the chosen one.
He could turn heel at any moment, though.
It could. You never know. And I'm so glad that he is with Winston, because even before that was a thing, I was saying forever that I thought the two of them would be a really great fit for each other. So I think squad. I mean, fuck that guy. Fuck Winston. But other than that,
Make it 2, Ryan.
do it.
Didn't do that. Liquor is quicker.
So okay, okay, I got a question. Guys, this is probably since this person kind of decided he may not do our stream tomorrow. I'm going to throw it out there. Eric, you were officially drafted before John Roca. How do you feel?
Great. I love that. Feels amazing, especially given how much he has complained about it since then. Not specifically about being drafted after me, but about being 4th pick. I was so stoked to be was I a 3rd pick? Yeah.
You were the 3rd round pick.
Yeah, feels great. Whatever. I could take Joe Rogan in a showdown match. I'd be fine.
I just want, if you ever face him for some reason in a match, you have to throw that line out there.
Oh, absolutely, I will.
Because I went over the draft boards, like with everybody, like with our pros coming in and so forth. I went over the draft board and I made a note on my notebook, drafted 3rd. And I circled that because I really wanted to touch that, because you know how ass hurt he got about officially being 4th.
Yeah, that's great.
So I just wanted to see a reaction to that. Yes, you were officially drafted before.
And I know that that's largely because he was protected because of all the belt stuff, but still feels
your
nice.
Your name got called first.
Yeah.
I took you to go with a couple of friends of mine, and I did a mock draft, and I had actually Kaiser pulling you 3rd.
Nice.
That's one.
Honestly, that's the thing about the dungeon, is that like we are a family, and so as much as we were able to stay together, that was the goal. That was the idea. It was like, as much as we can.
There you go.
Got somebody in the dungeon.
I mean, somebody. Oyama was gonna go when he lost to Bateman at Spectacular. I knew
And
he
I
was.
knew Winston was going to try to steal him. I knew he was going to do that shit.
Well, it kind of makes sense though. I mean, Winston was building a team, and I like Oyama. Like, I love the fact what you guys did with the kid and signing autographs. I've actually had people take pictures of him signing autographs with you on their papers and sending them to me. I kind of knew he was gonna go, but he needed kind of a mouthpiece, like. And I think Winston's a good fit for him because he's got the mouthpiece now.
I mean, we could all use a mouthpiece.
Yeah. Even before I was with Kaiser, that was one of the, like, even when I didn't have a manager, when I was with Winston, it felt like I had a manager because that guy can talk shit.
That was great. When him and Jay and Coy came out at Spectacular and did their whole spiel, I knew it was going to be a laugh riot.
Yeah. Also, pretty soon I'll be facing Winston in the ring in the MCU exhibition match. So
Looking forward to that.
That's going to be a wild time. I'm excited to get a chance to get a little revenge, put him in his place.
Well, maybe for we just started signups for our right here on this channel. We're gonna do a Marvel tournament. We may have to reach out and have you sit on the desk for the finals for us.
Can I be in that tournament?
I would love to. Yeah, please let me know.
Because we're branching out. Our channel is normally debate.
Right.
What? You kind of broke up.
Oh, sorry. No, Nikki asked if he could be in the tournament, and I said yes. Can you be in there? Or what were you saying?
We're normally a debate league here, but we've decided to start branching out and doing. We just finished up a Wizarding World one. Before that, we did. What else did he do? He did DC.
Yeah.
So we're kind of branching out, and I guess next up is Marvel.
Yeah, do it. There's so many questions.
So yeah, when we get the finals put together, I will reach out and absolutely, because you don't panic. I still love that tattoo. I just showed Caleb for the first time Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and we're gonna start reading it.
Nice.
So good.
Ensign, sit down.
He is Captain Pip.
No, he's not, damn it. He's the ensign. See, he is piloting this stream, but I am still in charge.
I have captain's pips on, sir.
It's true.
You
may be an admiral, but I am the captain.
Put those back in
You
my...
You're the boss, but I'm the captain.
You know what? I just have something to say to that, and it literally is. Yep, it really is. Where's your other flag, Nikki?
My other flag.
This is
so when we change
it's not even fucking put up.
costumes and flags.
I just saw Ryan say that every part of Marvel will be fair game, TV, movies, and comics, which that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So they usually pull from about everything for the questions.
Star Wars, we got very deep for Star Wars.
Yeah. What is that? What is that flag back there? I can't make it up.
It's upside down, Nikki.
How many flags do you guys have?
Yes. 3. Yeah, they do costume changes. They do flag changes. They're our resident.
I'm honestly jealous. I don't have any cool props. Literally, all I have is this Iron Man mask that is not even a mask. It's just the DVD case for the first movie.
I figured you had an answer. I had an answer you asked. How many flags do you have? 3.
I have a head.
Devin has head. He has a head. Devin doesn't get anything.
It's so unsettling.
Yeah, it is. It balances right on his Adam's apple, and I could just
We literally
it choked him though.
Oh no!
Sorry, Devin.
Nikki, this is what Ryan said. You're, and guess what? This was his reply. I'm wrong. I'll take a shot. Take 2.
Now 3.
Now 3. So what? Okay, if let's say hypothetically, Eric, tomorrow the world goes completely back to normal. No coronavirus, no nothing. What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing you do?
Either go see a movie or go to a body of water. If it's as hot as it's been this week, it would be to go to a pool or an ocean or a lake, somewhere that I can jump in and get cool. But
yeah, I'd probably go to a movie as well.
Already are cool with you with us.
Roasted. You roasted me, and in the process, also yourself. I appreciate that.
Oh, hey, Malcolm.
Shout out to Malcolm.
That was good.
Oh,
what's up, Malcolm?
Speaking of going to the movies, whatnot, I do have a question. And I don't know if like AMC's are doing it or not, because I live in an area that doesn't have AMC's. It's all private owned theaters. They've been selling popcorn like curbside. It's like you just pull up, you give them $5, and then they give you a large popcorn. For all of you guys, is there a theater around you that's doing that to stay open? Because that's actually quite smart to keep them open.
I'd get those taco bites though.
I actually have two answers to that. One, yes, we have what's called Harkins. I don't know who they're owned by, but they're the major theater chain here in Arizona.
We have one Harkins down near my folks' place that I go to a lot, but I didn't realize that they were big in Arizona.
There's actually more of those than there is AMC here. Yes, they're doing that. And the second thing is talking about keeping theaters going. Drive-ins have actually taken a major.
Yes, I want to go to a drive-in.
We have one that runs year-round here in Glendale. It's kind of it's a suburb of Phoenix here.
Oh, okay.
So it's about
LA Glendale. I was like, what?
No, it's about a 45-minute drive from where I'm from, and it's like $6 a person to get in, and it's a double feature. But the only kicker to that one is you have to stay in your car. And there's this other company that opened up at a big big area. They rented like this big field where they do movies as well, where you've got like they give you like a 12-foot square around your car so you can get out and move around.
Right.
So I think that's going to be the next big thing if Corona does continue to run rampant, is that we're going to see the places doing more drive-in style movies.
Yeah, I'm going to start one in my home.
Do it. Like honestly, like I don't think I've ever actually been to a drive-in, but I like very much want to, especially like right now. Like yeah, that's amazing.
Like the one that's here that's open all the time, every quarter, so every like 4th month, they do what's called Fandom Appreciation Night, where they pick the major movies. One time it was Guardians, the Avengers that was out, and like 5 or 6, 3 kids movies and 2 adult movies, and it was free. It was completely.
I don't understand. Why don't they just show Fury Road over and over? Shouldn't every theater just be showing Fury Road over and over?
Yeah, show it over and over.
I want to watch Star Wars.
The only I don't know. I think I went straight to Fury Road because I feel like if I'm in a car, I want to be watching a movie about cars or with cars.
Right.
I took Caleb's mom, my ex-wife, to see Fury Road at the drive-in. It was great. We picked up pizza. We had alcohol. I mean, I didn't drink much because I was driving, but we had alcohol. We had pizza. We took a blow-up mattress and we laid it out and blew it up and put a tarp on the ground and put that on it. We had tables with pizza and nachos and shit. And we just sat there and.
I am 100% convinced that for the week after I saw Fury Road, my driving was wildly unsafe. I
love Fury Road.
That I was just like, as soon as I left the theater, I was like, "What a lovely day!" and like peeling out the parking structure.
Right.
Like,
I was like that. I was like that after the first Fast and Furious movie. I had just gotten my license, and I went and saw it. I was just like, "Wah!" And then Tokyo Drift came out, and I was like, "I'm cool. I could do that." No, I can't.
No. But I do think
eventually reached a point where nobody can do those things because they do insane physics-defying car superhero stunts.
Oh, come on! You're telling me The Rock can't push a missile with his bare hands? Or
Okay,
hold on,
he probably could.
or hold on to a tow chain and a helicopter at the same time.
You're right.
Oh, you're telling me The Rock can't do that? That's bullshit. I don't believe you.
The Rock.
I don't believe you. That's The Rock.
He could, but The Rock is yeah. You can do
No. Out. I really don't know how to respond to that.
I mean, I can kind
Yeah,
of see it. I mean,
it.
like me personally, I don't think it's the greatest action movie of all time, and quite honestly, I don't know if it should have been nominated for Best Picture because I think there were better movies
should've
that year.
won.
Let's see,
Bad
it came
Boys
out
3 is gonna be Best Picture this year.
2015 is when it came out.
15.
I can't even think of what won that year. I'm blanking on it.
Spotlight did.
Spotlight. Yeah, I mean, I would have replaced Fury Road with Creed personally, but I mean, is that Force
It's also
Awakens?
a perfect movie. It doesn't have to be either or. They're both amazing. You make it a
I mean,
top.
I love
Let
it.
them both.
Like, I love it. I just don't think it's like I can see how it's overrated in the sense of I don't think it's the best action movie since like Terminator 2, like people were saying. Overdriven. There you go.
Oh,
That
Nikki
one.
or Devin coming out with that, right?
Right. But I mean, I think it's a good movie. I like it a lot. It's something I'll watch, and I won't refuse to watch it if somebody's going to put it on TV. It's a good, fun action movie. I like the second Mad Max more, but that's just me.
It's Fury Road is my third favorite movie of all time.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I don't know,
Okay,
maybe-
what's the other two?
Number 2 is Magnolia, and number
Oh, yeah.
1 is A Serious Man.
Okay. So yeah,
Every time I tell
I
people
love both
that A
those.
Serious Man is my favorite movie, though, some people will be like, "Is it because you're Jewish?" And yes, it's a very Jewish movie, but that is not
Right.
why. That's not why.
Yeah. So yeah, I enjoy it. It's a very
See,
good movie.
we all have movies like that.
So I know. I don't know. Maybe it's because of my fascination with Star Wars. I like Force Awakens more, but I mean, it's just
Bad Boys 3
maybe
deserves.
biased. I don't think that there will be enough.
The Way Back wins Best Picture.
Oh.
There we go.
So,
Yeah, there you go.
Bullshit.
wait, I got to know now, what are you guys' favorite movie of all time?
Return of the Jedi or Endgame.
Yeah,
one or
mine's
the
a
other.
tie.
Rocky.
Yeah, mine's between Empire Strikes Back and Shawshank Redemption. It's one of those. One day it's Empire, the other day it's Shawshank. It goes back and forth. So I just call it a tie. More than anything.
I'm like that with Rocky and Shawshank.
Yeah, it's like Shawshank's just a perfect movie. I can't
Shawshank-
think of any
yeah.
flaws.
It's a little bit boring.
It's shut your mouth. Kick him out. Kick him out. Kick him out. man. Just throw
The
him out.
fact that Forrest
Thank
Gump beat both Shawshank and Pulp Fiction for Best Picture.
It's by far better than Forrest Gump. Like if you're
Oh,
comparing
it's
to
better,
the
for
comparison, Forrest Gump's a snooze fest.
It should have won that year, I think.
It did, but like it's ridiculous.
I think a lot of people may not have seen it. That's why it didn't get the win.
I think
I mean-
if you're voting for Best Picture, I think you would have seen all three of those movies.
You would think that. But a
Yeah.
lot of people vote who don't see all the. There 100% should be a system by which
That's a good one too.
people voting for the Oscars can prove that they've seen the movies. I don't know how you would do that,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
it's amazing how often people in that voting body will be like, "I didn't even see that."
Right.
I still haven't seen Richard Jewell yet.
Me neither.
I agree. I mean, it's nice to see Kathy Bates get nominated, but what's his name? Because he was in I, Tonya too.
Paul Hauser.
Sam Rockwell.
Yes, should have been nominated.
Paul Trouser.
You like
Yeah,
the bird,
movie.
don't you?
Huh?
You like the bird, don't you?
The bird.
Take his bird. Take his shoes too.
But no, he should have been
Zipper got
nominated.
There was so many movies last year though. Like people are screaming that Endgame should have get nominated. I'm kind of glad personally it didn't, because that would have almost felt like
Right.
the popular one.
I think about that is that, like, I think the MCU, it's one of my favorite things in the world. I'm obsessed with it, but it's in many ways it's closer to television than it is to movies. Endgame is
agree with that.
Endgame is so dependent. I love it as a movie, but it's so dependent on 23 movies of leaders. You know what I mean? It's a piece of serialized, ongoing storytelling.
Right.
Serialized, for sure.
Yeah, it's like it's such a fraction of the overall story that I understand why it would be difficult to consider it against other movies.
Right. Like I don't know about nominating that or Infinity War for a Best Picture or anything like that. But I think the Russo brothers probably should have got more consideration for Best Director, especially with Infinity War, just pulling all the different movies and tones together and making it all work perfectly.
Endgame, you guys' favorite MCU movie?
Winter Soldier is still mine.
Endgame's fine.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is mine.
Doctor Strange.
It's probably my top 5. But no, it's Winter Soldier, the first Avengers, and then the first Iron Man are my 3 favorites. And then I'd probably put Endgame at 4.
Mine goes Strange, Winter Soldier, the first Avengers, and then Infinity War.
So yeah, first Infinity Wars, I like it a lot too.
And then number 5 is the first Avenger. I don't think that movie gets enough credit.
Yeah, that movie is underrated.
No, it's a great movie.
I absolutely love, and Chris Evans is the reason that movie is so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I got a hot take though. I think Incredible Hulk is very underrated.
If it had Ruffalo, it would be in the top 5.
See, and that's another thing. I think Edward Norton is a better Hulk. Like I think Ruffalo fits the more comedic. I think he fits a more comedic thing, but I think Edward Norton is the better actor. It's just he's a pain in the ass on set.
I think Ruffalo has really good chemistry with all the rest of the cast. But,
Yeah, sure.
But there's every chance that Norton would have had equally good chemistry. But who knows?
Yeah, I think that would have been crazy. Or I think it would have been great to see him and Downey together. I think they especially would have really worked. But no,
and he's got the comedic timing. Norton's got that comedic timing that it kind of feels almost forced with Mark Ruffalo. He doesn't really have quite the and if you ever seen him in Keeping the Faith, Edward Norton in Keeping the Faith with Ben Stiller, his comedic chops are there.
Right. So and then my dad pointed it out. I actually think it's kind of true. Mark Ruffalo throughout the years kind of sounds like he's getting more and more drunk. Like it sounds like he's drunk in his movies. I kind of agree with that.
I do agree. I do agree with that.
He's
Ryan,
major stoner.
Oh yeah.
Although, and I know this is controversial or whatever, as much as I do think Captain America probably has the best trilogy, and I don't like Iron Man 2, I think Iron Man 1 and 3 are both amazing. I think 3 is hugely underrated and talked shit about, and people are just wrong. I think that movie's incredible, but also I'm a huge Shane Black fan.
Right. Yeah.
I like the fact that they moved past the hero element of Iron Man 3, and they focused more on the humanity of him because what he goes through, that's got to screw with your head.
Yeah. So it felt more real too.
Yeah.
And and I know Harloff says it a lot about it, where it's a good Shane Black movie, but it's not a good MCU movie. I never understood that.
Distinction.
I never understood that. It's like if it's a good movie, it's a good movie.
Yes.
And it's not the real Mandarin. Like we know that now.
Yeah, the real Mandarin is he's going to be in Shang-Chi.
If it ever comes out.
Yeah, if it ever does.
Anytime someone says it's a good movie but not a good this movie, I lose my mind, because if it's a good movie, then it's a good that. Like if it's a good movie, it's a good Iron Man movie because it is an Iron Man movie.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then people say it about The Last Jedi too, where it's like, oh, it's a good Rian Johnson movie, but not a good Star Wars
There's
movie.
shitty
It's like,
parts of a good movie, but no good movie is perfect. Like you even said, Shawshank Redemption. I don't see any flaws in that movie. I see flaws in that, but it's still a good movie.
Yeah, I can't. But no, yeah, that's just one argument I never got. Like, it's like, okay, maybe you don't like it as much as other MCU movies because of the tone and how it feels and whatnot. But if you're saying it's a good Shane Black movie, it's a good movie.
It's a good Shane Black movie that stars Iron Man, which makes it a good Iron Man movie.
Yeah, it's a good Christmas
Shane
movie.
Black, 10 Rings.
Right. Yeah. See,
Shane Black, what?
Shane Black is Shang-Chi in the 10 Rings. Is it Shane Black in the 10 Rings?
Yeah, there you go.
But see, what I like about especially Iron Man 3 is that I think coming off of the movies that it was around, when it came out, it may not have been on that upper. I like John Campea says the way he describes the MCU. You've got your upper echelon, your top tier, your Avengers, your Endgame for some people, Winter Soldier. Then you've got your step down, almost your not. And I say this, but I don't really mean it. Your B level ones. Your some people would say Doctor Strange, the first Avenger. And then you've got, your lower tier ones. And you've got, your lower Iron Man movie, Iron Man 2, whatever, is at the bottom. But it is still a good movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. It's a good
like that. Caleb and I, we just rewatched all Iron Man. He wasn't feeling good one day, so we decided to do an Iron Man rewatch. We started with 1, watched 1, 2, and 3. I actually, the more I watch Iron Man 2, I like it more. I mean,
I do too.
It's been a long time.
See, there's bad in Iron Man 2. Absolutely. I don't like Whiplash in the movie that much. I don't think he's the worst MCU villain. And I don't think Mickey Rourke is bad in a movie. I just don't. It's just like, an kind of a whatever character. You could throw it out and it'd be pretty much the same movie. But there's the action in that movie is great, especially at the park when you have all of the the Mandarins controlling all the. Why am I blanking on it? But it's like the first time you see Rhodey and Iron Man work together. That action scene was great. The scene at the racetrack, that was a great action scene. And also, I mean, like Robert Downey Jr. I think is great. Still, obviously, it's that. It just
see Black Widow for the first time.
Yeah, and I mean, seeing her fight for the first time was great. It's just, there's not good. There's some bad things in the movie. It's near the bottom of my list for sure, but it's an enjoyable movie.
They should bring Justin Hammer back. I really think that they should if they do a Thunderbolts movie, have Justin Hammer on the team in like a suit of like Iron Man armor, basically.
Or Crimson Dynamo.
Yeah.
And I mean, I bet right, and I bet Sam Rockwell's on contract for 10 more movies. So
bring Rock back, get Abomination back in there.
Yeah,
he did one of those shorts where they introduced the actual Mandarin.
Yeah,
he's in jail with like this prison boyfriend. It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
We go.
The shorts are good.
So, gents,
whatever the hell else they have.
Right.
Yeah. So, gents, we've got a big stream tomorrow. Why don't we we're going on 3 hours.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
Oh, well, I'm good. It's just that we're bothering the kid.
Just crave human connection?
Well, Eric, I will absolutely add you to our chat for tomorrow. You get bored, whatever, you want to jump in and have a conversation with us. So we'll go around the circle. Mr. Nikki and Devin, where can people find you, Mr. Mandalorians?
Well, you can find us tomorrow on this charity stream. You said that it started at 4 Eastern or 5 Eastern?
5 Eastern.
5 Eastern, and that's 2 Pacific time.
Correct.
See you then. This is the way.
This is exactly the way. Mr. Matt, where can people find you online?
You can find me on here. We have our charity stream tomorrow. TMG Gives Back. We're raising money for Feeding America, as well as buying masks for hospitals and nursing homes for places that don't have enough masks, because we don't want people getting the coronavirus and spreading it around that work in the hospitals. I don't know, maybe we can send some to stores too. I know they're forcing their employees to wear them as they should. Other than that, you can find me just on here whenever we do whatever.
You can find me at Facebook at Matt Graham. You can find me here as the Game Zone Commissioner. We are moving on in our tournament. Our semifinals, as you want to call it. We got Taryn Neal taking on Mr. Nicky himself, coming up here pretty soon. That's me. Mr. Zipper, where can people find you online?
On Twitter, you can find me at Grog is here with 2 G's at the beginning. On Letterboxd, I'm Eric Zipper. You can find my writing on The Completionist on YouTube. I do writing for him, so feel free to check that out. And that is it.
Alrighty. So, guys, one last time.
Yeah.
My computer.
Rule of threes, do it one more time. Thank you.
Forget it. I give up. I will play that next time. For everybody here at TMG After Dark, good night. And again, thank you, Mr. Zipper, for joining us.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. This was a blast. Thank you, guys.